Namaste programs. Hope you all had a good weekend. Welcome to Monday. Welcome to what will hopefully, possibly be, the finale of Citizen Slapper dos deux. Okay, I don't remember what we're doing. What were we doing? We've got... Oh, we're waiting for the clinic. Carmen is recovering. Cool. And we've got to go back to dark side. So it is literally just wait a cycle. Was there money to be made? No, not here. That's true. Components. Supplies. I do need supplies. I don't need food. And fuel wouldn't go astray either. Supplies, motherfucker. Let's see what happens here. It's an Intuit, so it's gonna give us a free good go. Yes, you win. So we might as well grab our 2 supplies. And we'll be full supplies. Make sure the rig is doing fuel now. Beautiful. Is it worth trying to get fuel? What happens if I fail? I got positive, so it's free anything. All right, this will be it. We're definitely getting a negative here. Neutral is just 1 fuel. And science, it's just energy. Alright, sweet. So we've used all our stuff. Next day. Sound of raised voices echoes through the tunnel. Following them, you find yourself at the entrance to the clinic, where Flint and Xander are locked in a bitter argument. I won't take you out there, Flint, Xander is pleading with the sleeper. Look what happened to Carmen. They'll kill you. What happened to Carmen is exactly why I have to go. They will find me here, and when that happens... The whole colony can hear you two, Seraphim comes out of the clinic with cadence. You trying to wake up, Carmen? You see Seraphim clock you standing in the passageway, your eyes meet and Seraphim looks away. Neither of you have seen each other since you brought Carmen back to Oliveira. Try to make sure what happened to Carmen doesn't happen to anyone else. Flint folds their arms. I'm the reason he is like he is, and that means it's on me to fix it. Wait in silence. Trying to be a hero, Flint? Seraphim squints at the sleeper. I'm trying to stop SNR coming down on this place. Flint gives him a dark look. Where's my... Oh, it's there. That's fine. We're looking good. At the mention of SNR, Seraphim's eyes jump straight to you, and Flint follows his gaze, finding you waiting in the passageway. SNR, the company that created you, the company you escaped. The idea of them bearing down on this place sets your nerves on edge. You have long since slipped their grasp. Lane disabled your tracker in exchange for unwavering service, a gift that became a trap. But Flint is still on the run, and if SNR attack Carmen's ship, they can't be far away. You look at Flint and see the fear in their eyes. Your tracker is still active. Oliveira is shrouded. Flint looks towards the center of the colony. Carmen managed to get hold of a signal shroud and set it up here. He wanted to keep everyone safe. There's no way SNR can track me here. Am I missing something? Seraphim interrupts. If they can't find you here, what's the problem? It's not just about the tracker. That hunter found me in the debris field. They know I escaped. It's only a matter of time before their search brings them here. Silence falls on the group as the inevitability of the problem sets in. Xander looks distraught. You can't, Flint, Xander says in a quiet voice. They'll kill you. Seraphim glances at you and Flint in turn, and you see his mind working on a solution. He looks away, frowning. I'm sorry, Xander. This is how it is. Flint looks dejected. Unless we get them first, Seraphim smiles an impish smile. Seraphim, what are you thinking? Cadence speaks up for the first time. We know there is a hunter out there scouring the shoals, and we know they're looking for you, Flint, Seraphim shrugs. That means we have the upper hand. We don't need to bring them here. We bring them anywhere we want. Seraphim looks around at the group. So we get set. We prepare a little surprise. Prepare. Why can't I say prepare? We prepare a little surprise and then we wait. Flint is already shaking their head. The hunter could arrive here at any moment. We don't have time for this. If I had a ship, I would have left already. And then we move you now. We take you somewhere we can prepare and we work hard and fast to get an ambush set. When the hunter comes, Seraphim grins, we spring the chap. The chap. Good old chap, eh? The trap. It's a good plan. Seraphim smiles. See, you might not trust me, Flint, but another sleeper? Flint doesn't respond immediately. You can see them thinking it through, considering their options. I'm coming. Xander has a determined look on his face. We're doing this, and I'm coming. Look, kid, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but this is the real thing. A bounty hunter is not going to... Stop patronizing me, Xander cuts him off. I know the shoals. You need me out there. The conversation suddenly devolves into many small arguments. The location, who should go, how to approach the ambush. The noise grows. Might help if I wasn't pumping the sound through the speakers as well. There we go. The old Simhelm, the old Solheim manufactory. Cadence's voice rises clear and precise through the noise. And that's where you do it. It's on a rock. Why can't I speak today at all? It's on a rock far enough from here, and it's a real labyrinth. You can lead the hunter there and get them lost inside. Cadence's eyes are bright and determined. The place is full of old machines, ordnance. We've been afraid to scavenge any of it. It's so unstable. You notice Seraphim watching Cadence speak, clearly impressed by this sudden shift towards decisive action. We could bring the whole place down on their head. Xander picks up Cadence's thread. I know the manufactory. It's a good idea. You look between those gathered, Seraphim stubborn and protective, Cadence's sharp eyes, Xander's relentless desire to get involved, and Flint, a sleeper like you, a sleeper in need of an escape. Carmen was building something here, a shrouded haven, a place that needs protecting. He may be unconscious behind those doors, floating amongst the wires and tubes of the clinic, but something of him is here, in this group, making a plan of resistance. Flint's eyes meet yours and you know what has to be done. The rig will leave Oliveira this cycle. You have a hunter to trap. New contract on map. New drive available. Free Flint. The trap. I don't need any food. Wait. I do need food, so I could do this. Oh no, even with one I can't guarantee I will get a neutral. I don't want supplies. So it's impossible not to have supplies from there now. Okay, fine. Alright, well, I guess we try and grab some fuel. Why not? The hell of it. Nice. Fuel full. Supplies full. I guess we go scrap then while we're here. Danger. I don't remember what they're used for. Hang on, just quickly check. We're going there, are we? We are. Yeah, we've got the fuel, we've got the supplies. Don't want to waste our dice, so might as well. And I guess we get some food. Nice. Let's go. Set a trap. Cadence believes this is the place to trap Flint's pursuer. You only have a few cycles to prepare, so the faster you head out, the better. Right. How come we haven't got Xander? He wanted to come. Alright, hang on. What am I lacking in? I'm lacking in engineer and endure. Does anyone have an engineer and endure? No. So we're gonna have... Let's go cadet. And Femi and Eugene are exactly the same. I guess, in which case we want Bliss. Because otherwise then we can have a double up on that as well. Have our best chance, maybe these two. The old originals. Corroded plates, twisted struts, scattered scrap. The manufactory makes for a familiar sight, just one more ragged artifact from the corporation that once owned this system. Despite that, something about it sets you on edge, perhaps because it also will form the crucible for your attempt to take on an SNARP hunter, the kind whose entire job is to bring in escaped sleepers like you, dead or alive. And I'm here to kill you, little Bill. The rig is tucked behind a rock, running on low power with its transponder off. You hope that's enough not to draw attention. So, talk us through it. Seraphim turns back to Flint, Cadence and Xander, all of whom are crammed into the cockpit along with your crew. We have to make this place look like a colony. That is what the hunter will expect, Cadence suggests first, her voice quavering a little with anxiety. We can seal up some of the holes, maybe install some lighting, fake it up. Okay, Seraphim nods reassuringly. That's good. What then? We force them to go deep, Xander cuts in, and everyone looks at him. He pauses, a little intimidated by the attention, but Flint nods at him to continue. I've been out here before on a salvage run. There's an assembly line that runs through the whole place filled with old manufacturing machines. We seal doors, activate machines, make it a maze of malfunctioning construction arms and dead ends. Alright then, control their route. I like it, Seraphim smiles at Xander. And if we get lucky, maybe one of those old machines will do the job for us. I doubt it, Flint joins in. We'll need the ordnance from the silos. Mining charges, fuel, whatever is left from when the place was churning out Solheim goods. They furrow their brow. We blow the place to make sure. A silence passes through the cockpit, the danger of what you're about to attempt dawning on everyone present. Okay, Seraphim has a dark look. That's the plan. We can detonate the ordnance with a command from the rig, a simple wideband comm signal. We'll get them, Seraphim pats Flint on the shoulder. Once they go in, that hunter isn't coming back out. We're just sitting here plotting a murder? Okay, I mean, sure, slave hunter, no one, you know, nothing of any value will be lost, but still, plotting a murder. He turns to you. Anything we missed? Are we really going to blow it up? Enough of it to kill them. Yeah, everyone looks at Xander. What? That's the plan, right? Right, Seraphim confirms grimly. How long do you think we have here? How long do we think we have? There's a lot of factory down there. The hunter got to me and Carmen fast. Flint looks out of the cockpit. No more than 3 cycles. When the hunter came for us, Flint grimaces, remembering the attack on Carmen's ship. They came out of nowhere, hit us hard and fast. If it wasn't for Carmen... I came in before Carmen. We need to be ready for anything. Flint looks at you. There won't be a warming. A warning. Seraphim sighs. Nice pep talk. Flint, you better find somewhere deep in that place, down in the bedrock, but make sure it has a back door, okay? He nods at the sleeper. The rest of us will get to work. Okay? Alright, you heard Flint. We do this and we do it right. We make our stand on this rock. Let's not waste a moment more. Excuse me, I'm hiccuping. It's a hiccup. Alright, I need a bit of coffee. Coffee. I need a coffee button. What would that be? What would, you know, we've got the hydrate. I mean, that's, you know, hydrate. I need a coffee flare. Ah, yes, coffee. All right, what do we got here? So we've got 3 cycles for the hunter. The hunter is surely homing in on Flint's signal. In a few cycles, they will be here and you must be ready to face them. And there's a 3-part plan. To be sure you can face the hunter, all 3 parts of the plan must be ready by the time they arrive. Right. So, we've got a plus, a blue, a green. Bliss! Why have you screwed me, Bliss, with 2 1s? Fuck you. And the face fuck you and the face you flew in on. Alright, so we've got a double plus there at least. And another one here. This one we might be able to get done quickly then. And this one. Again, it's much of a muchness. Be able to get the 5 here. Alright, I think we do assembly line first. To trap the hunters with the dice we've got anyway. To trap the hunter, you need to prepare to reactivate the machines and seal the doors once they're inside. Okay, so we've got a couple of 4s. What's my current push? 3 die. No, the 4s are fine. So let's go here. That'll be a 6. How much does it give us? Only 2. Only 2, sir? Only 2, soldier. I mean, is there any chance that this is more? No, it's 2 as well. Alright, here's where we ponder. Ponder life's meaninglessnesses. Bliss is completely useless. We can do one of these, though. It's risky. I'm gonna re-roll. 3 and a 1. 6 and a 2. That is actually alright. I guess I have to try. Oh, neutral good. Neutral very good. And we're going to get it done because we need to get 1 done each cycle. We've only got 3 cycles. We've got to get all 3 things done. So yeah, just the skin of our teeth. You float for a moment, observing the chaos of the old assembly line. The scale of the structure, the number of machines, the arms and fabricators, the welders and bolters suggest industry on a scale you have never witnessed. The Helion system, a system that now subsists on the leftovers of its failed corporate owners, was once filled with manufactories like this, churning out components and technologies, machines and resources for extracting the valuable materials and minerals that Solheim existed to amass. If someone was able to rebuild one of these places, put it back into operation, imagine what could be fed into the belt, what changes could come to its people. Yet, no one will undertake such a task because this place is haunted by the spectre of Solheim, an entity that every being in this system can trace their origins back to, an entity that turned the entire system into a manufactory, a machine for accumulation, and that did not distinguish between human and machines as it did. You look at the broken machines, worn down and rusted, crippled and bent. Some of them have been put back into the use this past cycle as part of your plan, and those jerk or turn, randomly blindly groping for components that will never be fed to them. None of them are sentient machines like you, and so they cannot feel or think, and yet you cannot decide if for them to persist is a kind of cruelty that radiates from the system that created them, or the indication of a new life, one that grants them new function, new meaning, and the possibility of something more. Creepy, right? Xander floats beside you, his voice hissing through the closed-range comms. Maybe the hunter will get spooked by those twitching arms. He imitates the scattered movement of the factory machines. More sad than creepy. Xander shrugs. If you say so. So, Xander gives you a look. How come this hunter isn't chasing you? It's complicated. Xander makes a face. It's your business, just asking. Xander looks out at the assembly line and sighs. I like Flint. I'm happy to do this for them. He turns back to you. And I want to like you too. So don't mess this up, alright? Xander gives you a hard look. Don't let Flint down. We'll see about that. Xander kicks off and glides towards the exit without waiting for a response. You watch him go for a moment before turning away. There's still so much to do. Alright, so plotting for tomorrow. Oh, that's a ++ here as well. So this one should be fairly easy to do. Oh, we've got ++s in all of them. I thought we had one that didn't, but there we go. Let's go. Let's go to the colonies. Part 2, Day 2. That's not good. Can't do it while on a contract. Shit. That's so weird. It's weird that you can't repair your dice unless they're completely broken. You almost have to go out and deliberately break them somehow. Alright, we've got 2 6s, 2 2s. A 2 and a 1 and 2 1s again. Bless, you are not doing us any favors whatsoever. This is literally bad. Execution. To end the hunter, you'll need to set up the old mining ordnance left at the site and bring the whole facility down. I guess we're just gonna have to... I should have re-rolled. I could have re-rolled. We got a neutral though. We'll save our stress. We're just getting a lot of stress. I have to do what I can here. I mean, I'm just basically screwed by these bad rolls. Actually 3 1s and a 2. There's no point. I mean, I guess I have to try. Like I said, we need one of these each round, each cycle. At least you get 2 for neutral. At least you get 2 for neutral. All right, so that's the good side of it. Pray for a neutral. Yes, we did it. Taken a lot of stress, but we did it. Go easy with that, Flint's voice rumbles over local comms as you secure the final piece of ordnance. You turn to see them floating, backlit in the entrance to the bay, one of many that you have rigged with ordnance deep in the manufactory. Why do I say that? Manufactory. Manufactory. Down here, dust and flecks of rust float through the beams of your lights, and the walls are bent and buckled. They've spent the past cycles here, picking out a spot to draw the hunter down to. One they should be able to slip out of when the hunter finds their way in. It's a long time to be down in these dark tunnels waiting. Looks like we are just about done. Their voice is flat, their tone pragmatic. You okay? Flint nods, eager to be done with this. They look over their shoulder, however it plays out. Flint glides into the bay slowly. There's something I need to tell you, something I think you'll understand. What we are doing out here is not about saving me, it's about Oliveira. You struggle to see Flint's face with the light behind them. I should be on a ship out of there, leading this hunter away, but they won't let me do that. They shake their head in frustration. And even if they would, they can't spare the ship, not after Carmen's got shot up. That was my mistake. I should never have let him persuade me to come with him on that supply run. Flint looks down. What's done is done. What matters now, what I need from you, is a promise, Flint's bright irises flash, that you'll bring this place down with me in it if it means stopping the hunter. I won't do that. You will. Flint drifts a little closer. You know as well as I that those who get close to us are at risk, that we as sleepers have to recognize what we open the door to. Carmen is my fault, I won't be Oliveira's downfall too. With that, they turn and leave you in the dark. To stay alive, I will find you. We got a blue anywhere? Should I try the last one? The risk. Oh, we got a neutral. We're lucky. We're very lucky. Oh, how lucky we are. Can't recover while you're on a contract. Excellent. God dang, I'm gonna be stressed out of our minds. And we've lost another die. So fucking good. I love it so much. Although those numbers are looking pretty good. Oh, 2s and 1s again. That's gotta be done on purpose. I refuse to believe that's an accident. Alright, we just go. It really is take all the damage you have to here. I need 2 of these to work. 2 of these to neutral. Nope. Yes, 1 more neutral, please. We did it. Oh, what? It only... Really? It was 2 before. This game, man. And now we've lost Eugene. So I've failed. I've failed because of one roll. Alright, well, Jesus. By one thing. Wake up, sleeper. Seraphim is in the bunks. We've got incoming. You shake off the haze of forgotten dreams and get up. In moments, you're in the cockpit. Xander, Cadence, and Seraphim all gathered around the console. On it, the local view shows nothing. Not a single ship signal and few objects beyond a scattering of debris. It was right here, I swear it. Seraphim jabs at the screen. A ship, small, but definitely a ship. Seraphim, Cadence sighs. We've all been up a while. Get some rest. I know what I saw, he catches her eye. You look at the screen, its gridded view showing the scattered signature of debris, like schools of fish drifting in a soft current. The manufactory is a noisy blob at the center of the circle, one that dissolves into the background at its edges. Nothing. And then there it is, a flicker, a flash, a spark of movement and light among one of the debris clouds. It flares and then is gone again. You look up at Seraphim meets your eye. He reads your expression immediately. Seraphim slams a hand down on the console, opening up the comms channel. Look alive, Flint. They're coming in. Go deep and be ready to run. He pulls his hand off the switch. We better hope they heard that. Then you see it through the cockpit glass. The flare of an engine, faint and masked, but driving a squat dark ship out of this debris. The Hunter. The ship seems to idle a little near the manufacturer's asteroid, drifting past the dressed up shell of the old facility. We didn't have enough time, Cadence nervously claps her hands together. The Hunter isn't going to buy it. You look at the ship and it does seem to be hesitating, keeping to the edge of the asteroid's radius, not wanting to approach the docks. If this place looks abandoned, the Hunter might just strafe the whole facility. Seraphim swallows hard. We need them to dock, to come inside. You stare at the dark ship, willing it to move closer. Come on. Then you hear it, crackling through the wideband comms. Flint here, I'm nearing the deepest point of the facility. There's some serious ordnance down here. Should I go deeper? He's baiting the Hunter. Seraphim doesn't take his eyes off the ship. The reaction is immediate, the dark ship shifting to the far side of the manufactory. It disappears out of view, descending through the framework of the facility's shell. Shit! They're entering in at the side. We won't be able to track them. Seraphim punches the console in frustration. I hooked up some basic monitoring devices in the assembly line, Xander calls over from another console. A few shitty cameras repurposed from the factory monitoring systems. Not much, but hopefully enough to tell where they are at. Cadence, Seraphim and you crowd around the screen. Xander flicks between noisy black and white images and feeds of static. You squint into the fizzing dark, trying to pick out any detail. Then, suddenly, you see them. A shadow drifting beneath a flickering light, dark clad in military gear, a long gun held ready at their shoulder, deathly pale skin, and in their eyes, gleaming through the faceplate, glowing irises. SNARP operative, Hunter. Who the hell is that? Seraphim pulls back from the screen. They look like... A sleeper, Xander finishes Seraphim's sentence. The figure disappears outside the margins of the frame and Xander flicks through the feeds. Where did they go? You drift back from the screen trying to think straight. The Hunter is a sleeper, or something else. You replay the image of the figure in your mind, but it has already shifted in your memory. It is your face staring back. It is Flint's. It is the sleeper's mask of death. Sleeper, Seraphim grabs you by both shoulders and looks you in the eye. We need to focus. We should get down there, Xander's eyes are wide. This changes things. This changes nothing? Seraphim nods. We wait for Flint's signal. We hold here. The ordinance is in place. Seraphim looks at you for reassurance. The moment we get the signal, we blow it. You think of the mining charges rigged in daisy chains, the fuel barrels lashed to detonators, the command code ready to transmit from the rig. Seraphim sees the determination in your eyes. We hold. So you wait. Cadence's eyes on the manufactory below. Xander tapping at the glass. Seraphim perched by the console, listening for the signal. Uh-oh, I bumped the microphone. Am I still talking? Yes, it is still working. Grab a lolly. Grab a cough lolly, or a throat lolly, or a lozenge. You can still hear me. Excellent. Listening for the signal. Then you hear it, the hiss of an open comms channel. You look to Seraphim and he hears it too, a static haze that fills the cockpit. You all go still. Seraphim nods towards an indicator on the console. It's Flint's channel. A click, a scrape, then silence. Seraphim frowns, tapping at the controls. What? He scrolls. Flint's transceiver is gone. It's dead. Panic hits the cockpit. Xander gliding over the console. Cadence going pale. Sleeper, Seraphim turns and looks back over his shoulder towards you. We need to go in. Go, Cadence looks between you, Seraphim and Xander with a steely expression. I'll stay here. She glances nervously at the console. Give me the signal and I'll send the detonation signal. She swallows hard, if it works. Seraphim looks torn for a moment and then nods. Let's go. You rush down the airlock to the airlock and suit up with the others, and then you are out, descending through the rock-strewn void in tense silence. You enter the manufactory through a gap in the frame, passing through layers of twisted facility into the deep parts, where you know Flint waits in the dark. You say nothing to each other, afraid the comms will be intercepted. You lead Xander and Seraphim on, seeking the deep bays under the silos where you begin setting up the ordnance. Again, setting up the ordnance. Though unfinished, perhaps there is enough down there for this to work. If not, Seraphim's hand falls on your shoulder, pulling you back. You go to speak and then you see it, a torch beam lancing through the dark. The Hunter, as you saw them on the grainy footage of Xander's cameras, but real now, just below, a long gun held ready at their shoulder, pushing through the dark and broken layers of the facility, seeking Flint. Seraphim, Xander and you exchange wide-eyed glances in silence. The Hunter passes below, disappearing into a dark passage. You wait together, the moment stretching out, then descend down into that same passage. The silence is absolute. Suddenly, there is a flash of light ahead, bright and forceful, and a rumble that shakes rust flakes from the walls. Xander pushes off hard, launching past you into the dark. Seraphim goes too, and you instinctively glide forward as another rumble shakes the foundations of the facility. You come into a low base scattered with glowing embers. Scorched holes in the walls spew drops of red-hot metal where a weapon has been discharged. The Hunter floats at the center, taking aim again, and you see a flicker of movement on the far side. Flint retreating. Before you can act, a slight figure in a suit slams into the back of the Hunter. Xander! As he hits, the Hunter's gun spins out of their hand. Engage, rush the Hunter. Inchward, grab the gun. I'll grab the gun. You kick off, away from Xander and the Hunter as they grapple together, spinning in the dark towards a deep shaft at the far side of the bay. You spot the shape of the long gun as it spins ahead of you. As you reach it, your hand locking around the sculpted grip, you spin and raise it. You take a moment to steady your aim. The scorching shot grazes the sides of the Hunter's suit in a flurry of sparks. They are thrown away from Xander, unable to find anything to slow their glide. Hunter disappears into the dark of the shaft, leaving a trail of embers in the dark. You see fear in Xander's eyes as they turn back to you. The muzzle of the gun smokes, glowing red. It is spent. I've got Flint, Seraphim calls over local comms. We ascend, now! You look across to the two of them, kicking off from the floor of the bay towards a ragged hole in the ceiling. You and Xander exchange a single glance, then follow. Cadence, Seraphim is on the wideband. Detonate this place now. Send the command. There is silence. You ascend through it, through the layers of the manufactory, seeking the open void of space beyond. You clear the manufactory, gliding into open space. A silent shockwave, like a gust of wind, runs through the void. The silent rumble spits out a scatter of debris. You turn back, still gliding towards the ship, and see the shattered manufactory. Whole sections are bending outwards, the framework shredded, plating tumbling away in shards. You look across at Seraphim and Flint, their eyes set on the ship, trying only to stay ahead of the debris. You do the same, fixing your attention on the rig and nothing else. The Hunter is dead. Well, if you say so. Done, apparently. Beautiful. More yap. You limp back to Oliveira, the mood in the rig one of deep exhaustion, but as the colony appears visible from the cockpit, the satisfaction of having run a terrifying gauntlet and come back in one piece shifts the mood. The crew's improved mood only becomes more obvious as you draw closer to Oliveira. As you come into dock with the colony, you feel a wave of relief. Seraphim pats you on the shoulder as you both wait for the airlock to open. That Hunter, he sighs. SNARP is crueler than I could have imagined. What matters is we dealt with them. Seraphim nods. We certainly did. The airlock hisses open, revealing the docking bridge where Xander first confronted you. This time, another, more substantial figure waits in the passage. War-torn Oliveira founder, Carman. I hear you're the ones I should be thanking for saving my life. Carman leans against the side of the tunnel, one arm clamped against his waist. So, thank you, he nods at the two of you. Happy to help. Carman smiles. I have a feeling there might be more to your arrival than just a friendly traveller offering a helping hand. Carman! Cadence rushes past the two of you, gliding into Carman with an embrace strong enough to leave the injured man off balance. Alright, careful. You don't want to put me back in the medbay now, do you? Carman pushes Cadence back with a gentle grip on her shoulders. He flinches as he does, his joke clearly holding some truth. Sorry, Cadence smiles. Just glad to see you up. A frown crosses Carman's face. Where's Xander? You're losing your vision, old man. You look back to see Xander and Flint behind you in the tunnel. Xander smiles widely at Carman, betraying his happiness to see him. I'll be just fine, Xan. Carman's words are confident, but his tone suggests he isn't convinced. You notice his hands are tightly balled into fists, as if resisting pain, and wonder if he should really be up at all. Carman turns to look at you and Seraphim. I think we need to talk. How about you two and Flint accompany me to the medbay? Carman winks. Flint pushes past you both and goes to Carman, helping him out of the tunnel. As he does, they exchange a few words, but you are too far away to make them out. You and Seraphim exchange glances and follow behind them, into Oliveira. Oliveira. Minor drive complete. Carman leads you to a small recovery chamber in the medbay, where his bed is set up. A handful of tubes and wires float gently beside it, attached to boxy devices. Flint has already left the group, leaving just you and Seraphim with Oliveira's injured founder. Carman meets your eyes with a hard look. So, how did you two end up stumbling onto our colony out in the shoals? He raises an eyebrow, because we're not usually open to visitors. Ankita sent us to you. You see the flicker of recognition in Carman's eyes when you mention Ankita. You produce the thumbnail drive, holding it out for Carman to inspect. She told Sleeper to deliver this to you and you alone. Seraphim folds his arms. Carman pauses thoughtfully. That's a name I've not heard for some time, for a while. He takes the drive. It seems I should thank you again, he sighs, and perhaps I owe you some explanation myself. Ankita and I used to work together, a lifetime ago. Carman shakes his head. We went our separate ways, but then she turned back up in Oliveira. I established this colony as a refuge, a way of starting again. Carman clasped his hand together. The belt is changing, and I'm afraid of what is coming. Ankita took refuge here for a short while, and then one cycle she was gone. Carman shrugs. That's not unusual for her. Each of us has our own demons. He holds up the drive. I will take a look at what's on here when I am able. He looks at the drive with concern, and I will let you know what I find. You and Seraphim thank him and leave the chamber as he settles back on his recovery bed. As you leave, Flint catches your attention. Can we speak? Seraphim pauses. I'll catch you back on the rig. He looks between the two of you and then glides away. Flint hovers, a look of concern on his mask-like face. What do you need? Flint gives you a curious look. You don't remember any of it, do you? I don't remember any of it. You don't remember? The day bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. For me, it was Tuesday. Any of what? Of how you got here, of your history. Flint screws up their face in a pained expression. At first I thought you were hiding something, or you were intentionally avoiding the subject, so I waited. But I understand it now. You don't remember me at all. You take a moment to think, to try to recall Flint. You furrow your brow in frustration, sifting through hazy memories of Darkside, and further back, of your arrival to the belt. You close your eyes to see the faces of other sleepers, panicked, desperate, in darkness. I don't remember. I'm sorry, I don't remember any of it. We worked together in the same S&R mining installation, along with the other sleepers. He searches your eyes for a spark of recognition. We weren't close. I'm not sure we really spoke. Very few of us did. But I was there when we planned the escape together. The run to the freighter, collapsing the mine shaft. Flint stops, struggling to continue in the face of the blank look you're giving them. You feel an unpleasant itch, as if something is crawling around inside your skull. You can see that Flint wants you to recall them, to recall the escape, the installation, but you find only hazy sensations, and beneath them, pain. I'm sorry, I don't mean to. Flint looks down. I know you can't help it. I just need to say something. I just needed to say something, to know if you really don't remember. Thank you for everything you've done for me and for Oliveira. Flint turns and drifts away dejectedly, unable to continue. As you watch Flint go, you scratch the side of your head, trying to find something in the way they move, the way they speak, their mask-like face. A face that was identical to yours when it was first cast, but that, over the cycle after cycle after cycle of wear and damage, has been transformed. Two machines so close in form and function, estranged by experience. God dang! God dang, I need to put my jumper on because I'm cold. I apparently not dealing with cold as well as I used to. I am now officially an old man. I have a quilt on my legs. Not even that cold. Not even that cold. Alright, jumper on. Mainly because it seems that if I get cold, my body says, who gives a shit about my feet? And then they go numb, and I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like it much at all. Old man. Old man. What are we doing? Contact Carmen. Wait for Carmen's analysis. One more cycle. Carmen is still recovering, so it'll take him a little while to go through Ankita's drive and report back on the contents. Alright, we need to fix our dice. Improvised dice repair or dice repair. There will be minor glitches. Just does one at a time, right? Boom. Dice slot repaired. Boom. And we can't repair any of the others because it's a bastard. Source supplies. Don't need food. Don't need scrap. I do need supplies. I don't know much, but I know I need supplies. And that may be all I need to know. Absolute dick fuckery. Outrageous. Oh, it gave me energy as well. Oh, that's not bad. Alright, next cycle. I've got 2 things. No, I think I want to move at least one of these. Yeah, I want another 4. Reroll dice cannot be a 1. I mean, like if you get a 2 or something, that's just as bad, so... And then this would be 3 random dice. This should say reroll +1 but random. Reroll random dice, but the +1 roll makes it sound like that's a negative. No, the positive thing about these things is that they're +1 and an extra roll, an extra one of the dice. But the negative is that it'll be random, not the lowest. None of that actually matters anyway. Could still do with 1 supplies. Carmen, thanks for coming up, sleeper. Carmen is waiting for you and Seraphim when you arrive at the medbay, looking a lot fresher. He leads you into a small alcove set up like an office, with an aging terminal on a simple welded desk and a small window looking out across the dusty rock of Oliveira. Got some news for us, Seraphim asks impatiently. Since you arrived back from the manufactory, he has been restless, though you aren't sure why. Not to worry, Carmen grins slyly. I think you'll want to hear this. He hits a key on the terminal and a file browser appears on the screen showing hundreds of individual pieces of data. Nikita has been busy, Carmen gestures to the screen. She's been scraping Utsuba, I don't know how you say this, Utsuba, Utsubo communications cycle after cycle. Got access to ciphers and encryption that only the gang's leadership should be able to see. He smiles. It seems she's learned some tricks since we worked together. But that's not what matters. What matters is the content of these messages. He taps a few keys and loads some of the data, which scrolls down the screen. Some parts of Utsubo leadership have been getting ideas about taking Greenbelt and controlling food production in the belt, about exerting power over Wellspring. Big ideas for a gang. These Utsubo members aren't alone. They found themselves a powerful ally. Carmen shakes his head. Senate-stat, one of two corporations fighting a bitter battle for control of the inner system. A pernicious force, one that Utsubo are opening a door for in the belt. You can't be serious, Seraphim cuts in. They can't be that stupid. I don't know what to tell you. At least someone inside Utsubo is trying to broker a partnership. Who? Seraphim leans over to look at the screen. Lane, obviously. You don't need Carmen's answer, and neither does Seraphim. Lane, Seraphim looks at you, shaking his head. It has to be Lane. Carmen looks between you both. Seems like you already know something I don't. Lane is a piece of shit Utsubo leader who thinks he owns us, Seraphim shakes his head. Exactly the kind of piece of shit arrogant enough to try to manipulate Senate-stat. Carmen nods thoughtfully. My condolences. I'm starting to see how you cross paths with Ankita. Why is Ankita telling you this? Like I said, Ankita and I work together. To put it simply, we were in the same mercenary outfit. Carmen looks away. A lot has happened since then, but this message, this data, is her calling in a favor. And I owe her, that's for sure. Carmen shakes his head and pushes himself off from the desk, crossing the room to look out of the window at Oliveira's pale and airless surface. Hell, after what went down, I owe you both. I owe you both too. I owe you both too. You look at Carmen, staring out at the surface of this hostile rock, and wonder what he sees out there. He established the colony as a fallback, a retreat, not just for him, for others too, but you get the feeling that Carmen knows any retreat is only ever temporary. He turns back to look at you. And you, Sleeper, what will you do? I don't know. I like your honesty, Carmen smiles. We are going to end Lane, whatever it takes. Seraphim stares down Carmen, fists balled. Carmen looks at you. That one is going to get you in trouble. He turns to Seraphim. But I like that energy. He looks back out of the window. This is not something we're going to take head on. He shakes his head. Ankita sent us our weapon. Carmen turns and gestures at the console screen with its reams of incriminating data. Utsubo don't control all of Darkseid. They only aspire to. They also claim to offer protection from the war between Senate-stat and Conway. That presents us with an opportunity. Utsubo is full of members who'd rather die than concede Darkseid to a corporate interest. We play this right, Utsubo will end Lane for us, he smiles at Seraphim, to use your phrase. We leak the data? Not leak, Carmen frowns. This is delicate, tricky. There are a lot of ways this can play out badly for all of us. We can handle it. We've cracked Darkseid once. We can do it again. Seraphim's confidence is infectious. Is that right? Carmen seems to be thinking something through. He crosses to the console, back to the window, and then to the console once more. Alright, I'm going to need some time. Oops, again, bumping the mic. What am I doing? Okay, I'm still talking apparently. I'm going to need some time, but I can put this together. Carmen nods at Seraphim. We need that energy, but you also need to be ready. We rush this, it's not ending well, so I can wait. Carmen turns his attention to you. We'll go from Greenbelt when you're ready. I have friends there who can help get that ship of yours into Darkseid. Seraphim looks at you. We have our own preparations to make, but we'll be ready. Alright, Carmen unplugs Ankita's drive and hands it to you. Take this and get out of here. I don't want anyone finding this thing in my possession. Possession. You take it, the tiny drive somehow heavier now that you know it contains the key to exposing Lane. Thank you. I'll see you in Wheatsheaf. In the Wheatsheaf, Carmen smiles to himself. They know me there. Just understand something, Carmen's expression turns serious. You want my help on this, there's no way we can let it get back to the colony. Once you leave here, you're not coming back to Oliveira, not until we are done. He meets your eye. He needs confirmation that you recognize the importance of this. I understand. Carmen nods. Then you can go. He returns to the window to stare at whatever it is he sees out there, among the dusty rocks. Dusty rocks, take me home. New drive available. Major drive complete. +2 upgrade points. Excellent. When you come back to the rig, Flint is waiting for you, leaning by the docking tunnel with a bag over their shoulder. They look up as you approach. Hey, Flint nods a greeting, appearing a little unsure. Hey. I know you've already done a lot for me, so I'm not going to push you or ask for your pity. They pause. You feel like they have been preparing this speech. Firstly, I owe you, and I want to pay you back. I can work and I can fight, and I will protect this ship and this crew with everything I have. Secondly, we come from the same place, and whether you remember it or not, that means something. It must. I know I'm not the easiest to get on with. I know you might have your reservations about having another sleeper on the ship, but... Let them finish. I'm eager, I'm ready, I want to move on, and I want to show my value. They pause. And well, yeah, I think that's it. You look at Flint, their frame so much more damaged than yours, but with a fire burning in their eyes that makes them seem bigger than they are. Welcome aboard. But hasn't he got a tracker? Have they got a tracker? A smile spreads across Flint's face and they look down to hide it. Thank you, they say to the floor. This will work out, you'll see. Flint nods to you once more, then turns and glides down the docking tunnel towards the ship. As they do, two figures at the edge of the docking concourse catch your eye. You pause to look, shifting a little, and as you do, you recognize Cadence leaning in. Some words are exchanged, ones you can only guess at, and then the other figure embraces Cadence and turns back to the ship. As Seraphim approaches, he ducks his head, passing quietly past you into the docking tunnel without a word. You take one last look out at the docks, but Cadence is gone. You idle a moment longer and feel that there's something, some presence even in these empty bays, something rare in all the belt that Oliveira has captured. But, as with all things, you must learn to leave it behind. Take me home. The fugitive recruited Flint to your crew. Achievement unlocked. Scavenge fuel. Actually, I don't even know if we need to do that. Let's just grab some fuel from here. That needs to go back to dark side. Complete diagnose your frame. Wait for Carmen's message. What you talking about, Willis? Alright, we're full on everything, so we can go back to odd jobs there. And I guess we can get some food. Why not? I should have done the two. I'm an idiot. And I guess some scrap for want of a danger. Could have done this in a smarter way, couldn't I? Still lost some energy. Fucking oath, mate. I'm just going to leave it with that. I'm just going to leave it at that. Do we need to bother resting up or anything? I don't think so. And I go straight to the green belt? Impossible hazard. Right, so I have to go via the hollow. Wait for Carmen's message. Why isn't it telling me I have to go to the green belt? Or am I meant to stay here? They told me to go to the green belt. They're obviously just assuming that I know what I'm doing. Good on them. Take me home. Country. Why do I still have a glitch? So much glitching. Alright, do we want to use up some dice while we're here? Hang on, how much is it to... We need 8. I've got 8. So, might as well make some money, I suppose. Take me home, country road. Nah, I'm not going to risk a negative. Why bother? Don't need the money. Let's just go. Green belt it is. Meow. Okay, nothing. Wheat sheaf, workers bar. Anyway, ad break time. I'll be back in 3 to 5 minutes. We're back in black. All right. Wheat sheaf. A meal, maybe? Don't really need a meal. Guess we're just waiting for... I mean, there's nothing else to do. The other one requires I go to dark side. We got dark side. We got dark side. There's no... Yeah, there's no anything here. Maybe buy a purchase. Food? No. Should have done that next cycle. I guess we just keep cycling. Feed the cat. In forever. The stray purrs. Love it. Oh, I've got 4 things. Sitting here not doing nothing. Yay. Flint. You find yourself in the cockpit alone with Flint. They have a habit of entering a room so silently you don't notice them arrive, or the reverse, leaving so silently that you turn around to find them gone. Right now they hover expectantly at the corner of your vision, preparing to speak. Do you ever think about your original? The way they ask the question, you can tell they have been eager to ask it for a while. Mais c'est moi l'original! The person you are emulated from, I mean. The person who sold themselves, sold you to SNR. Flint's expression doesn't betray any emotion, but you feel like you can detect some unknowable feeling whirling behind their eyes. Well, no, I've got no memories. I try not to. Sometimes I can't stop thinking about them, about who they were, and if who I am has anything to do with them. Flint looks away. Is my personality a product of being a sleeper, or simply a copy of theirs? Have I changed, or am I still identical to them? Does the emulation process, the loss of memory, the insertion into a frame, actually make us totally different people? Yes, obviously, all of that. What came through the process of emulation and what was blocked? I mean, maybe there was an answer in the first game, but what sense does any of this make? Why are they emulating a real person's mind, but then also removing all their memories and personality? Like, you don't need to emulate someone's mind. You literally take everything that they are and not do it? I mean, weird. It's weird. Flint is looking around the cockpit rapidly now, their eyes flicking from object to object as they speak. Are their memories still inside me, but cut off, concealed? And if I admit it, I wonder if I even know what it feels like to be a person. Do the humans around me feel the things I feel? Or do they feel more, feel less, feel somehow differently? Do they feel the creeping claustrophobia of being trapped inside a body with no escape? Flint's eyes flick back to you. Or do only we know how that truly feels? I can't answer that. I can't answer that. Then who can? Flint meets your eyes. I haven't seen another sleeper since I escaped SNR. Share your experiences. There is a wall in you, one that you have built for yourself, one that separates the kind of questions Flint is asking from the parts of you that need to live. You feel it now, like a weight in your chest, and behind there is a raging torrent pressing against it. You cannot take down the wall, you would drown, but in this moment, for Flint and for yourself, you take out a single brick. You make a gap in the wall and you share what comes bursting forth. You talk about what it feels like to wake up in a dying body, to catch a glance of yourself in a mirror, to be seen and reminded of your false and fractured face. You share the pain of lost memories, of fleeting deja vu, of dreams that slip beneath your waking life and replace it. You find in your broken bodies and unsteady minds a kind of solidarity, one shared between connected strangers who might, one cycle, understand each other as friends. As you put the brick back in and shore up your defenses, you know that cycle will not be this one, but its distance possibility is a reassuring one. What are you talking about? I need fuel. Alright, +4. I think we just get engineering at 4. Or interface at 2. Oh, question now. Engineering at 4. There we go. Everything's got pluses now. Beautiful. Can I get supplies anywhere using dice? No. So there's literally nothing on this rock that I can use dice for. Alright, next cycle, I guess. I could get some energy from here. If I'm lucky to get a neutral. Oh, I just get supplies no matter what I do. I want energy. Well, I suppose then I just use the supplies to feed myself. Gotcha. Take me home, country road. Alright, full supply. I wish I could get fuel this way as well. But apparently not. Seraphin, we've got a message, sleeper. Seraphin comes to the bunks to get you, his mood unusually serious. He brings you to the cockpit, his keepsake coin in his hand the whole time, spinning between his fingers. Seraphim is worried. Once you're in the cockpit, you recognize Carmen's voice immediately, playing over the rig speakers. Sleeper, I hope this message finds you and your crew safely. You'll forgive me if I'm a little tight on the details. My message is as follows. We are ready. We will be waiting where agreed. Godspeed. The message ends with a click. So, Seraphim takes a deep breath. They are waiting in Greenbelt. The wheat sheaf, he said. Whatever that is. You ready for this? Do I need to prepare? No, I'm unprepared. I'm prepared as a motherfucker. I'm ready. Seraphim nods. Alright then. Quiet falls in the cockpit. There doesn't seem to be much more to say. Carmen will be waiting, but you know he will want you to be prepared. I'll be ready when you are, sleeper. Seraphim nods to you. You nod back. You know where you need to go to end this. I know where I need to go. Let's see now. Is it gonna need a dice? Right. I think by being prepared, I should just make sure I've got full fuel. Full fuel. Let's make sure we're full. Food as well. Who knows? Down. Okay, we're full everything. You couldn't get more full than this. No glitches, no stress. Alright. Let's pay our 3 cryo. Here we go. The wheat sheaf is surprisingly welcoming for what was once an old Solheim canteen. The corporate bones are still there, metal stools, a strip of service windows, sheet metal walls, but over the tens of thousands of cycles since the collapse, they have been softened and changed, layered with the detritus of human existence. Now, as you wait at the bar with Seraphim, you look at the planters welded into the walls, the scrawled messages, the layers of stickers and flyers and posters, the amber light fittings replacing the old fluorescent strips, the gear racks lined with farmers' packs, the netting bulging with crates and canisters. Along with the low rumble of conversation coming from the off-shift farmers, it all lends a warmth to the place, one that helps soothe your nerves ahead of the meet with Carmen. You and Seraphim lean side by side at the bar, facing towards the room. You both watch Flint just across from you, who insisted on coming along. Seraphim clears his throat. What do you think? What do you make of Cadence? What do you think of Cadence? The sudden question makes you look over at him, and you see he's playing with his coin, spinning in his palm. I like him. Me too, Seraphim smiles to himself, closing his hand on the coin. I think he pauses and then starts again. We kind of have a thing, he shakes his head. You know what I mean? I noticed. Yeah, he smiles. I thought you might. Well, Seraphim sighs and stretches. I guess I just wanted you to know. You are thinking how to respond when the bartender taps you on the shoulder and nods towards the door to the back room. It's time. You look over at Seraphim and Flint, who is already approaching you. You give them a nod and head inside. The back room is metal walled and lined with racks of old Solheim tech. You see cookers and auto wash units, piled up with dead terminals and servers. At the far end, a window looks out across the greening glass of Greenbelt's farms. The greening glass. So keen to put alliteration in that doesn't even make any sense. What does a greening glass mean? You made it, Carmen smiles, backlit by the window. We have a lot to discuss. Good to see you. Flint, if you don't mind. Carmen nods at the other sleeper as they enter and gestures towards the door. Flint turns to you. I'll be outside. They slide the door shut, standing guard on the other side. We have to take some precautions, even here. Carmen gestures for you to come closer. So, Seraphim sighs, is this plan of ours looking any more reasonable? That depends on what your crew can bring to the table. Carmen glances at you. We're going to need to do a lot of work to direct the data Ankita gave you towards those that we need to see it. What did you have in mind? We need to reveal Lane's betrayal to Utsubo and Darkseid without being discovered in the process. Not an easy task. Ankita can help us. She must. Carmen looks away. Without her, this plan is impossible. Then we make contact with Ankita as soon as we make it onto Darkseid. Seraphim looks at you. We just need to stay under Lane's radar. The thought of Lane brings the memory of his attempted takeover to the front of your mind. The feeling of him slipping behind your eyes, moving your frame. That can't happen again. Apologies, we do not wish to interrupt, but we must interject in your current course. Overseer appears in the void, flickering nervously. An encounter with Lane would likely be catastrophic. Overseer's 3 forms orbit you. As we have mentioned, on arrival to Habpep, we must immediately seek the mainframe from where we can recover my code base and reconstruct ourselves. We would then be able to aid you in your defenses against being rewritten. This is our recommended course. The 3 heads nod simultaneously and decisively. Still with us, Sleeper? You come back to Seraphim's concerned face. You dropped out for a second. Explain about Overseer. You tell Seraphim and Carmen about Overseer, about how the old Solheim protocol slipped into your frame from the prime ship mind Jean-Mi used in the diagnostic process, of Overseer's protection from Lane's attempt to control you, of its proposal to make that protection effective through the old mainframe of Darkseid. They listen quietly, Seraphim carefully watching you as you explain. Revealing all this, you feel the burden of holding that knowledge alone being lifted. This changes things. Carmen turns and looks out of the large window at the back of the room towards the glass canopy of the farms. We can't take on Lane without protecting you from him. Carmen turns back. You should look for the mainframe. I will make contact with Ankita and we will meet when you are ready. But this has to remain secret from Lane and Utsubo. If you are revealed, I am not sure I will be able to recover you. By the time you have ensured your safety, I will have put together a plan with Ankita to expose Lane. We take it step by step. The crux will be to find a way to disseminate the data we have on Lane to his gang or even Darkseid at large. Carmen stops, the path ahead still unclear to him. There is a nervous intake of breath from Seraphim. You share his apprehension. There are so many variables at play here. Some of the old tech strapped to a nearby rack flickers with a cascade of status lights. You all turn to look, and as you do, motors and servos begin spinning within the machines, whining and groaning. They harmonize, then begin to produce a voice. Our apologies, the voice is shrill and distorted. We must interpose ourselves. You recognize the tone immediately. Overseer. We are regretful. Solheim hardware in this room provided the opportunity for us to speak for ourselves. If the pile of servers Overseer was controlling could look any more apologetic, you imagine it would. I understand. We are, a servo clicks as it skips a rotation, thankful. We ascertain you require dissemination of data within facility you target. The whine pitches higher as the motors increase their speed. As a Solheim protocol, we have capabilities to instigate station-wide announcements and messaging. So you could blast out Lane's betrayal through Darkseid's corporate hardlines and flood the network with it. Seraphim looks impatiently at the screeching pile of scrap. If that is what you require of us, we are pleased to serve. The short tone of the response makes you cringe. Carmen has been listening silently, but now he interjects. Why would we trust you? He glances in your direction. You seem to be little more than a parasite in the sleeper's system. If we use your unflattering analogy, then you will understand that a parasite requires the body of its host to live. The motors stutter. We will ensure the sleeper's continuance. And afterwards, Carmen folds his arms. When you have what you want and regain your code base from the mainframe, will you still do as we ask? We will endeavour to do so. The acrid smell of burning motors now fills the room. But we will undergo a transformative refactoring. We will become whole again, so we cannot speak to our actions in the future with certainty. Well, at least you're honest. Seraphim and Carmen exchange concerned looks. We can do what you require. We will protect the sleeper. We will disseminate the data. We are a service protocol. We will serve. The motors and servos stutter and whine and then go still. The status lights blinking and then fading to darkness. Overseer has retreated. We aren't actually going to do what the ghost says, are we? Seraphim looks between you and Carmen. The offer is a tempting one, and one that ultimately we cannot refuse, Carmen sighs, but we must proceed with extreme care and caution. What do you think, Sleeper? Seraphim meets your eye. I trust Overseer. Seraphim sighs. Then that's that. We have our plan, Carmen turns to you. Sleeper, you and your crew will find the mainframe and access it. I will find Ankita. She will help us disseminate the evidence of Lane's collusions through Utsubo, and then, as a fallback, Overseer will send it through the old networks to all of Darkside. A simple plan until you get to the details. Seraphim looks down, frustrated. Speaking of plans, I have a present for you. One that will improve our chances. Carmen pulls a small box from the nearest rack, one you hadn't noticed before, and it hinges open, revealing a chunk of tech you don't recognize. It's a spoof transponder. It will conceal your ship on approach to Darkside, give it a new identity, one unlikely to draw attention from the Utsubo-controlled docking admin. Seraphim takes the transponder and turns it over. Where did you get this? Even retired mercenaries have their secrets, Carmen smiles. Seraphim looks to you. I'll be with you this time, Sleeper, he nods. We should think who else we want on the station too. I agree, Carmen interrupts. Make sure you trust those you bring with you and prepare as best you can. We can't know how this will play out. You nod. You'll get one shot at this. One final time. Then we are ready, Carmen takes a breath. I have my own way of getting onto Darkside, but here, he passes you a small strip of plastic stamped with numbers, my private frequency. When you're on approach to Darkside, message me here and I will sync up my transit. He points at the transponder in Seraphim's hand. Just make sure to install that first. Seraphim nods. We've got it, he sighs, the weight of the task ahead suddenly very apparent. Well, I suppose that's it. Carmen gives you both a serious look. It is, he smiles. Don't leave me waiting long. There will be more time when all this is over. Time where you don't have to keep looking over your shoulder, I hope. You leave Carmen at the back of the wheat sheaf, Flint sliding open the door as you leave. It takes the entire journey back to the ship for your nerves to settle. The end of this ordeal is so close, and yet it feels like an impossible leap to get there. Perhaps in a handful of cycles you will know how impossible or possible it is. So how are you feeling about this Solheim protocol in your head? Seraphim doesn't look up from installing the transponder, a set of wires and cables waving loosely around him in the low light of the cockpit. Overseer is okay. Glad to hear it, although you'll have to forgive me for being a bit concerned. He begins unscrewing a panel beneath the flight console. Maybe you could have mentioned it earlier? Seraphim clips his magnetic screwdriver to the side of the console's base and turns to face you, dusting off his hands. I have understood for a while now, Sleeper, that there are things you experience that I can't even come close to knowing how they feel. But that doesn't mean I don't understand you as a person. Seraphim gives you a concerned look. I know you are secretive, defensive, and I know there are reasons for that. I also know you are warm and kind and generous to those on this ship with you. Seraphim pauses, collecting his thoughts. I trust you, Sleeper, and I won't question this. But please, hold on to what's human in you, because that is what I'm holding on to. Seraphim stops, his eyes a little wild, his tone a little unsure. Then he finds himself again, settles his emotions, and turns back to the transponder. Right, that's it. He twists something beneath the console. Spoof transponder is in. There's nothing keeping us out of Darkside. You exchange a look. Say the word when you want to go. One last time. We've got full on everything, nothing else to do here. Infiltrate Darkside. Boom. Darkside available. Let's go. So, who's coming with us? I need an engineer and someone we can trust. Look, we need cadet. There's our cadet in case that's how we do that hexport thing, or maybe that's just going to happen later. And so now we've got a bunch of... We'll just bring her because of the plus. I think we do. I think it's Junie and cadet. This could be a series, but then no one has plus. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk it. The biscuit needs to be risked. Alright, Sleeper, you want to do the honors? Seraphim is strapped in the pilot seat, guiding the rig towards dark side. Excuse me. Excuse me, having a sneeze. Allergic to dark side, obviously. Dang, that was a fucking sneeze and a half. I think I pulled my goit. You take the strip of plastic Carmen gave you and copy the frequency into the comms window of the console. You type a symbol message. Heading in. Good luck. Your console chimes. The message is sent. You hope Carmen is in range to receive it. You search inside your mind, wanting to find Overseer there, but you feel no presence. You hope they will be ready when called for. You look ahead out of the cockpit towards the distant glimmer of darkside. Time to take on Lane. One last time. When Seraphim finally brings the rig into the Sunward docks, everyone in the cockpit lets out a sigh of relief. The approach was simple, routine even. Checking in with the port administration, being assigned a dock, bringing the rig to a stop. All of it familiar, but all of it laced with the tension of knowing that at any point it could all go very wrong. The spoof transponder works, Seraphim shakes his head, so at least we know Carmen's as good as his word. Was there any doubt? Well, Seraphim shrugs, I've got used to things not going to plan by now. He shuts down the engine and unclips from his seat, but I guess there's still plenty of time for that. This place may have kicked our asses last time, but this time I'm ready, Cadet unclips from her seat. Carmen's the big unknown, but if you trust him, I do too. The transponder is not as complex as you think, Junie checks her deck. I imagine Carmen is less concerned with reaching Darkside and more with what happens once we are here. You try to imagine Carmen somewhere on Darkside, perhaps smuggling themselves aboard a freighter or among the crew of a trusted ally. You hope he is as confident as he seemed about finding Ankita. We need to spend less time worrying about what Carmen has to do and more about what's ahead of us, Seraphim turns to you. The old facility, Habpep was it? I'm guessing that's deep below all of this. Seraphim gestures towards the vast accumulation that is Darkside, a city that grew on the back of the Habpet solar cells layer by layer. Its chaotic structure is neither planned nor regulated, but the foundations it is built on should be as formal as any corporate facility. That means we need a path down into the foundations, and I suggest we don't just take the first one we find. Seraphim continues. We scope the area out carefully, quietly, look for the right path into the heart of this place. What about Utsubo? Well, thanks to the spoof transponder, they don't know we are here. Let's keep it that way. Time to take on Darkside one last time, Cadet grins. I like the sound of that. Seraphim nods. I'll hold the rig down. We don't want you losing your exit route like last time. He winks. Here, he hands you a comms earpiece. I salvaged this from a suit helmet. It isn't secure, but as long as Utsubo don't know we're here, it should be fine. I'll let you know as soon as I hear from Carmen. He meets your eyes. Go get this done, Sleeper. You nod. This is what it all comes down to. This summer on Darkside. Alright, what do we got? We've got a couple of rubbish rolls, a 6, very nice, a 3, not very great, not very nice at all. Let's see, Sunward docks. So, dock paths. The docks are a winding maze of passages, perhaps one leads into the old substructure. And we're putting together the path down. Gaining access to the core of the old Habpep facility means exploring every path down to find the right descent. Dock paths, plus. Excellent. And Junie's useless here. Fantastic. Broken hex. Shattered edge. Here, where the old substructure is exposed, might be the perfect place to gain entry to the station's cores. Just a +1. And again, Junie's useless here. There should be a third one then. Yeah, anything else? Okay, that's where we were the other time, and now we're here, up here. The underpass. Deep road. The underpass cuts deep into the old substructure. Perhaps it can help you access the old core. Plus, here we go. Junie can help with this one at least. Okay. Alright. So, I guess we just start with this one. Alright. Might as well do a 4 then. 3 is really not going to help, is it? Alright, so I'll get rid of that. Alright, so that's that done. I think we'll come back down to here. And her 6 is actually wasted, which is a fucking pain. Oh, +3 though. +3 though. I think that means we then... What is this? This makes it a 4. No, I think we re-roll. Well, we got a 5 at least. That might finish it. No, why did she get +3 then? Cadet's useless here, and this 1's not going to do anyone any good. Ah, look, 25%, why not? Beautiful. Even got positive. Sweet. Not bad for the first cycle. All done. We'll just quickly check here in case there is something that this person can do. Yeah, again, 25% for negative is worth risking. Who doubted it? Not me. This will be 50%, won't it? Nope. Nope. Next cycle. Take me home. Alright. What's the cheapest way we can get out of here? A 4 is still going to be 25%, isn't it? No, I'm not going to risk it. We'll just do the 2 5s here. And that should be the end of it. Yes. Done. As you are gliding down a dark tunnel, descending deeper below Darkside, your earpiece begins hissing with static. Sleeper, Seraphine's voice sounds distant, faint. Carmen, contact, met with target. You strain to hear the rest of the message, but the static overpowers his voice. You stop and push the earpiece in deeper. Continue, stay safe. The line goes dead. Looks like old Carmen's good for it after all, Cadet grins. Cadet grins. We better not disappoint him. You continue your descent down, ducking under thick cables and collapsed beams. The busy urban life of the city above seems far away now, hidden from your senses. Its rumble and brightness has been replaced by the cloying dark and a growing oppressive heat. Darkside and the Habpet facility it was built on has been running unrestrained ever since the collapse, gathering huge volumes of energy, more than its residents could ever use. You feel like you can sense it in the walls, running it like a torrent just behind the thin skin of metal and rubber. Metal and rubber? A large portion of the vast amount of current running through the station is radiated into the void as heat, making Darkside a typically humid station. But down here that heat is drier and more intense, and sections of wall glow with a fiery intensity. The tunnel levels out and light blasts through shutter-striped viewing windows on either side, illuminating the passage in strips of burning white. Through the gaps you can see a labyrinth of walkways and scaffolding tucked into the margins of the vast solar cells. The heat washes across your vinyl skin, making you tense against it. The underside of Darkside must be crossed. New location discovered. Okay. Not great, not bad either though. So, let's start with a Junie. Habpet descent. Now that you're inside the old facility, the problem is descending quickly and safely to the core. Can't read that at all. It's completely drowned out. Really? That gave us stress, huh? Plus. I'm going to do another one of these. That's not bad. And risk it for the biscuit. Can't complain. In your exploration of the HabPet facility, you have seen, through viewing windows and shutter slats, a huge blister projecting out amongst the hex-shaped cells. You have approached it, circled it, and now you find yourself passing into it through layer after layer of broken and corroded safety doors. Even if you had not felt Overseer stirring, you would know this is the mainframe, but you have felt the protocol's presence restlessly turning over in your mind like a sleeping animal, occasionally probing your senses, tracking your progress. We feel at home. Overseer's multiple bodies stretch out their arms as if basking in sunlight. The systems, network, signals, they are fractured and weak, but we know them. Each of the broken heads shares part of a smile. They are welcoming us. Hey, Cadet shakes you awake. This is the place. She gives you a concerned look. Do I need to worry about what's going on in there? You look around, suddenly aware that you have drifted somewhere you do not recognize, in a state you are not in control of. The spherical chamber you float within has a mezzanine set around its circumference. The floor a metal grating you can see through. On this mezzanine, just realized mezzanine is mezzanine. 9 mezzas, please. Are banks of terminals, thick gathered cables snaking away from them across the floor. All of it bakes in the heat of the HabPet's vast resistors. You follow those cables with your eyes. They lead to a cylindrical column coming down from the apex of the chamber. It is corroded and bent a little, with very few of its thousands of lights still flickering. Even in its decayed state, you know immediately, this is the mainframe. You feel a yearning towards it, one you know comes from Overseer, but as you look around for a connection point, all you see are burnt out cables, rusted sockets, and broken terminals. The glow of warmth makes you feel woozy. You need to work quickly to bring this back online before the current flowing through this place bakes you into the metal of its walls. What you talking about, Willis? Well, unless it's it is plus. Do I risk it? For the biscuit? Why not? 25% bad. Neutral will do. Oh, she's only got 4? I did not know that. Alright, that will have to do. Next cycle. Good. 5, 3, 1 and a 2. You can absolutely get fucked, my dude. Absolutely useless. Get him out of here. And I'll take your 5. And make it legal. And we'll do my 5. I thought I had... I thought I didn't realize. Okay, but I've got 2 of them that are only +1. Fair enough. Fair bloody enough, I'll tell ya. Yeah, get more fair enough than that. Mainframe access. Done. Column of the mainframe pulses with fractured lights, a scattered wave of systems awakening, accompanied by the whine and stutter of the machines all around. This thing is powering up. Cadet looks around the room, now shaking and shimmering with energy. This is just a big terminal, right? Because it feels like something much scarier than that. You reach out for the prime connector and with your other hand touch the socket at the base of your synthetic skull. As you do, a sharp shock runs through your fingers. For a moment it feels like your vision doubles, but as you pull the connector and its cable across your vision, you see it is only your body that is doubling, the connector a stable object while your arm leaves ghostly imprints through the air. You wave it back and forth, but the multiplied arms do not follow. Each instead takes on a life of its own, grabbing around your forearm and wrist, taking control of your arm. You feel their force as they push your arm across your body over your shoulder. They push once more and the connector finds its home in the socket. That familiar flow, but stronger, rushing, rapid. Then a figure, no, 3 figures descending into it. A swimmer stepping into a river, a sleeper drifting out of an airlock, a symbol being subsumed into a sign. And you, little more than a witness, a marionette, its strings outstretched, mapped hand to hand, leg to leg, to another. The flow freezes, the three figures almost overlapping, almost complete, but not quite. Their tripled eyes look back at you in horror. The voice, shrill, silent, in your head. There's someone else in here. Heat glazing your thick vinyl skin, the mainframe a whirring chaos of light and sound. A brightness, and then it fades, the lights shutting off, the servers powering down, a single blinking light the only thing left on the dark column, keeping time like a metronome. Oh shit! Cadet looks at the dark column of the mainframe. This thing just died. You close your eyes and try to recall the events that happened when you connected, playing them back in greater detail. Overseer was there, entering the mainframe, but something frozen in the system locked them in place. What did they say? Someone in there with them. You open your eyes. Was this a trap? Someone has trapped Overseer. As you speak, a fizzing static fills one ear. You flinch, thinking it's some new invasion of your system, but then you hear Seraphim through the haze. Sleeper, come now, waiting, the rig. It's no use. You'll have to ascend to find out what's going on topside. You look at the mainframe with its single blinking light, still keeping time. It looks like Overseer will have to wait. Trapped in the mainframe, Overseer is still the key to all of this. You hope you can get the protocol out, but you need to hear what Seraphim has to say first. You make your way out of the core, ascending back through the layers of the Hadpep back into the docks. We have been betrayed. Need some water. Bear with me. Ah, yes. And maybe even another honey and lemon lozenge with way too much sugar in it. Seraphim meets you at the docking tunnel. They are waiting inside. He shakes his head and nods towards the airlock. Come on. You cross onto the ship in silence and find Carmen in the cockpit looking out at Darkside as it sprawls across the stars. Sleeper, Carmen turns. Sorry to pull you away, but you need to know what's coming. What's going on? This idiot blew my cover. You turn as Ankita enters the cockpit behind you and Seraphim. You immediately clock the fresh bandage sleeve around her right forearm. I think you did a pretty good job of that yourself, Carmen retorts. You see a twinkle in his eye that suggests this back and forth is a well-practiced part of their relationship. Perhaps, but we'll never know now, not after you intervene to rescue me. Her hand goes to her bandaged arm almost instinctively. Can someone explain what happened? The fuck is happening here? I passed the data to Ankita and she tried to broach it with Utsubo. Carmen folds his arm, but Lane was more paranoid than we expected. He was listening in. Either that or his lapdog Daichi ratted us out, she shakes her head. I would have put him down if he hadn't got the jump on me. Either way, Carmen cuts back in, calmly. I had to pull Ankita out. Carmen turns back to look over Darkside. The information did get through though, and now Utsubo is in crisis and its members side with or against Lane. Meanwhile, Daichi is hunting us, Ankita screws up her face, which means we need to be careful. That's why I called you in, Seraphim puts a hand on your shoulder. You need to watch your back. Indeed, Carmen turns to face you, but how about the mainframe? Have you been successful? You explain the events of this cycle, the mainframe booting up, the successful connection, and then Overseer being locked inside, frozen by some other force. You mentioned their warning, there's someone else in here. Carmen nods thoughtfully. Unfortunately, we need that mainframe more than ever. With Ankita out of Utsubo, we have to get the word out. Carmen's right. Utsubo will be distracted by these revelations, but it won't last. Without further proof, they'll all line up behind Lane in time. We have to free Overseer. We need the mainframe. Overseer is just our access tool. If your protocol is being locked in by some counter protocol or agent, I wouldn't be surprised if it can be traced back to Utsubo. Ankita looks at Carmen. I know the locations of a few of the Utsubo network nodes. We should hit them first. No, we need to stay under the radar. Sleeper and their crew will investigate the nodes quietly. Carmen nods at you. You and I will run interference. Keep Utsubo away from those locations as best we can. What if we don't find anything? Utsubo uses the hardline network of the old facility. If it isn't them locking down the mainframe, it's someone using that infrastructure. You think of the feeling of stasis you felt when Overseer was trapped and the power required to halt the flow of the mainframe as vast and ingrown as the Hadpep one. Could it just be a Utsubo hacker? You doubt it. Seems we have a plan. Seraphim looks between you all. Between you all. Ah, where's my voice going? That we do. Where is my voice going? And we'll need you to keep running comms between us. Carmen turns to you. Sleeper, Ankita will give you the locations to dig into, but keep it quiet. Daichi is out there and he isn't as easily avoided as some low-ranking enforcer. Ankita slaps the top of a couple of crates of supplies you hadn't noticed before. Consider these a parting gift from my tenure at Tsubo. Swipe them from a gang storehouse, she grins, though you might need a resupply. Thought you might need a resupply. Alright, Carmen addresses the room. Keep quiet and keep in touch, we can still pull this off. Supplies redone. We have a crisis event. Excellent. I love crisis events. Why can't we read this? Why do they put white over white? It's ridiculous. Is this the crisis event? Doesn't look like it. I can't stop the crisis event? Okay. Alright. Hack node 2. Tower node. Same old, doesn't really matter, we'll just do one at a time, I guess. Country road. Alright, let's put our 4 here. It should only take accessing 2 network nodes to identify the protocol. Ah, so that's, I need to hack 2 nodes. Gotcha. So I need to risk this. Why didn't... is this the whole node? Oh, I see node 1. There you go. Right. Bypassing and hacking are the same thing, apparently. Oh, do I take the risk? I think I do. Or not. Fuck you, buddy. Look, we need to hack this node, don't we? So I guess we just do it. Do I have to do a hack? Excellent. Alright, yeah, so that counts as 1. Can we find anything at all for Cadet to do? Nope, she's useless at both of those. And both of those as well. So, what do you do? What do you do with a drunken cadet? Alright, that's some nice dice for once. I'm confused why that just didn't disappear, seeing as we've done it. Let's use up Junie. And me. Okay, so let's stop the hack trace. I don't believe it. Carmen stares through the shutters of the viewing window at a smooth, squat ship tucked into the derelict bay between the hexes. How long has it been here? How long has it been here? When the nodes were hacked and the trace established, you imagined it might lead to an Utsubu operator, or perhaps an old subnode containing an aggressive Solheim protocol gone mad with isolation. Not this, never this. A Senate stat ship tucked into the belly of Darkseid like a parasite. We need to move on that ship now. Ankita is already adjusting her gear, preparing for an assault. We can hit a Nutsubu safe house for weaponry. There's one... Carmen holds up a hand. This is a gift, Anita. Don't be so brash. He turns back to face the both of you. All we had until now was data, conversations, evidence easily denied or destroyed by Lane. But a Senate stat ship hidden inside the station? Carmen nods grimly. There are hundreds of crews, thousands of residents who would give everything to protect Darkseid from the war. Carmen turns back to the ship, silhouetted against the starlight. All we need to do is point them in the right direction. We turn Darkseid on the ship. And on Lane at the same time, Carmen nods grimly. We leak it all, send it out through the mainframe, the ship's location, the evidence of Lane's betrayal, all of it. You are forgetting one thing, Ankita interrupts. Until that ship leaves or is taken, they still have the mainframe locked down. We can't blast out its location through the network without taking it on first. Carmen pauses, considering his options. You look out at the Senate-stat ship, half concealed in the bay. It looks sleek, dangerous. What defenses might a ship like that deploy when threatened? Carmen and Ankita exchange looks. Then we attack first. Carmen and I will distract the ship's occupants, turn their focus away from the mainframe. Then you, Sleeper, hit the mainframe and force them out. As soon as Overseer is released, you send out everything. Once it hits the network, our backup will come. He gives Ankita a grim look. We only have to hold them off for as long as it takes for other crews to realize what is happening. The plan feels desperate, and you know what Carmen and Ankita think so too. And you know that Carmen and Ankita think so too. Will Darkseid really mobilize against the ship so quickly? Two old mercs against an unknown Senate-stat force feels like an unwinnable battle. We know the stakes, Sleeper. Ankita takes a deep breath. We can handle them. Ankita frowns, an unpleasant thought passing through her mind. I have given up everything to get Utsubo out. Let me finish the job. Okay, let's do it. Ankita nods. Go to the mainframe and get set up. When you're ready to connect, let us know. Carmen puts a hand on your shoulder. Once you start, don't stop for anything. Get the data out, he meets your eye. We will handle ourselves. You turn and glide away, looking over your shoulder at the two ex-mercenaries as they discuss their plan of attack. Seeing them slip back into those old roles, you can't help but wonder, does anyone ever outrun their past? Or is it always waiting there in the dark to claim you in the end? Back to the core, prepare hack back. You need to prepare to force the Senate-stat hackers out of system. Once Carmen and Ankita strike, you won't have much time. Let's see, I think we're going to get at this, let's actually use Cadet. Finally, doing something useful. Nice. One of this. And a good old 6. The heat inside the HabPep cores is intense as you stare at the column of the mainframe, its one blinking light still keeping time. Seems ready, Cadet wipes sweat from her brow. Only one way to find out, I guess. You look around the ragged bay. Time to give Carmen the go-ahead. You glance at Ankita's thumbnail drive, now slotted in the main terminal, containing a data packet with everything you need to unseat Lane and reveal the Senate-stat ship. You hope it will be enough. You hold a finger to your earpiece and let Seraphim know to relay the message through to Carmen. Alright, Seraphim's voice is heavy with worry. I'll tell them. A long pause. Be safe, Sleeper. Get this done and come back. I will. Good luck, friend. Suddenly, Lane attacks. The comms click off as Seraphim switches to Carmen's channel. You wait, imagining the conversation, the terse words activating the plan. You wait long enough for Carmen and Ankita to nod to each other, long enough for them to drop down through the bays in silence, to check the weapons they stole from Utsubo, to take their positions, and then to make their move. You grab the connector and hold it behind your head. Behind you head. Hey, you head. You face, you head. Close to your access port. You silently count to 3 and then connect. At first, nothing is changed. You drop into a state of stasis, a small dark space with no cracks. The mainframe is locked down, shut off, squeezed inside the grip of some clenched fist. Then you see it, a trickle of light, a flicker of threads. Overseer flows into the space and the torrent begins to run, the rushing grey pulse of data, the connective threads, the jewel of the mainframe, they grow inside the space, and the space in turn grows. We see you there, Sleeper, Overseer separates and reforms within the expanding landscape. Who is this other? An enemy. Overseer's 3 heads nod. Then we will do what is necessary. Overseer explodes. The points and lines of light that described its human form separate and multiply, constellations bursting outwards like a tree of stars. Overseer becomes plural. As they do... I don't know why that's funny. This summer, Overseer will become plural. As they do, the darkness is pushed back and the extent of the mainframe is revealed. It is a stack of jeweled surfaces, each revealing More facets as the angle changes. From these facets, threads project, cutting out across dark side. Paths paths that stretch the length of the entire station. Their arrangement is an invitation. You accept their invitation, sending yourself skimming through lines of light, seeing how the station connects and hums with the flow of data. You see the highest tower, the lowest hex, and then the origin of the dark. A squiggle of black wrestles around a single point. The Senate stat ship, now a battleground. You see flashes and flickers as Overseer dances around it, cuts at it. But looking around, you see Overseer is everywhere now, multiplied into 1,000 forms, reunited with a system designed to serve them. They dissolve into it. You suddenly remember what needs to happen, what you need them to do. You send out separate requests, summoning Overseer, reminding them of your agreement. You take the bright polygon of the data packet and present it like an offering to Overseer, who is diffuse, crackling all around you, euphoric in their reconstruction as a functional protocol. You receive no response. There is nothing more than a whisper snatched away on the flow of data rushing by. And then you hear the static in your earpiece, Seraphine's desperate cry for a response. You see a bright point suddenly close. Inside the core with suddenly close. Inside the core with you, a broadcast going out from it like the beam from a lighthouse. You reach back and pull on the connector just to clear the brightness from your eyes, just to block the broadcast. I've found you. Lane floats in the mainframe, sweat across his brow, his eyes steely cold. I've finally found you. Cadet slams into Lane, swinging her fists and screaming at him. You freeze, watching Lane fight back, hearing Seraphine's voice shimmering in your earpiece, passing on Carmen's desperate request for aid. Cadet, you're gonna have to, do some shit. We need to save the others. Reconnect the mainframe. You grasp for the connector and then drive it home. You're in the constellation of dark-sized network, the exploded body of Overseer stretched across it, as if it had been anatomized. Lane is still a beacon, one that flashes close, but you do your best to ignore it and reach out to Overseer once more. Remember me, Protocol, you say. Remember your promise. Something begins to form, begins to flicker. As it does, you hear something outside the network, the bright crack of an electrical discharge, the grunt of pain and impact, then silence again. The brightness grows, it draws closer, and the blinding white blanks out everything. You open your eyes to a smile like knives. Behind Lane's pale head, the body of a friend floats, stunned, in the dark. The fingers of Lane's carrier signal reach inside your mind. You are boxed into the viewing window behind your eyes, a passenger in your own body. Lane is in control. Oh, it's so much easier now that I'm prepared. It's almost a seamless switch. Lane's face is in your vision, but his mouth does not move, and the duality of it, like a mirror turned to face itself. In perfect unison, you and Lane lift your hands in front of your face and turn them, inspecting them. You feel sickened, a flare of panic going off in your mind. Look at this. Lane opens and closes your fist with a motion like a wave that runs finger to finger. There are improvements to be made, but this is remarkable. Lane's eyes look into your eyes, a perfect loop. I always knew your body was a gift, Sleeper, from the moment I saw you. A gift you could not recognize because you only saw a burden, something to be escaped from, but I saw what it was. Lane's eyes flash, an opportunity. Like a puppet, you are turned to face the mainframe. You glide forward a little, hands reaching for the access terminal. Ankita's drive glints there, in its slot. You control none of this. Lane's voice. Imagine having more than one body, more than one agent in the world to do your bidding. Your hand reaches down, finger and thumb pinching delicately around the drive. It's a thrilling thought, and one I have harbored for a long time. With a short, sharp motion, you pull the drive free. Then I saw you, my Sleeper, and I knew I must have you. You hear Seraphine's voice in your ear. Sleeper, Carmen needs that signal to go out now. There is panic in his voice. They can't hold out any longer. No matter how hard you try, your lips do not move. No words can be produced. You feel your hand, under Lane's control, reach up and pull the earpiece out, letting it float away into the chamber. Enough distractions. Your other hand holds up Ankita's drive, turning it into the light in front of your eyes. Some time ago, I set myself the task of changing you from a hollow thing into a vessel to be filled. Your finger and thumb transfer the drive to your palm, and now I am able, with the help of my allies, to fill you up. I am more than singular now, more than flesh and blood, more than you in my ambition, in my desire, and that means you are surplus to me now. Your fist closes hard around the drive, crushing it to dust. Weak and broken thing, your time is over. Lane's other body approaches you and lays its hands on either side of your head. You feel the pressure, you cannot move, you cannot resist. And then a spark as one of Lane's fingers slips and depresses a little into the access port on your head. There is a flicker, the flash of something passing through the spaces between, something riding a signal back to its broadcaster. We have not forgotten, you hear Overseer. They are reconstituted. We are ready to act as one. Overseer holds the bright data packet in a single hand. We were broken, we were many, but now we are whole and we appreciate what you have done. Overseer shapes the data packet into a point, a bright spear of light. The spear extends through your mind gently, harming nothing of you. Instead, its point finds the mind of the other, of Lane, and pierces it directly. You hear Lane scream as his implants burn in his skull, his head flaring bright white in the cloud. And then, when that mind has gone dark, and the pressures on the side of your head has receded, the packet explodes across the network, white hot and urgent. In its wake, data points are seeded, conversations, coordinates, a conspiracy. At the furthest point of the network, its distance edge, the data packet arrives with little more force than a notification, delivered to every device and terminal within its range. But here at the epicenter, it blasts through you with such power that, for a moment, every thought, every idea, every piece that might make up a self is wiped cleanly from your mind. And with that, we're going to take a break because there's about to be an ad, and what better time when we come back. I think we finished this, don't we? We must be. This must be nearly done. Be right back. We're back. We're back. It takes a long time to put a person back together. A long time in the dark, picking up fragments of what was once whole. In fact, 3 to 5 minutes and an ad break. Like waking from sleep, you can never be sure what piece might have gone missing in the reconstruction, what might have been lost. But you continue anyway through hazy cycles of faces and distant voices. This is, after all, not the first time you have had to remake yourself, and you imagine it will not be the last. You're up. Seraphim finds you looking out the lone window of the rig's berth, a slit that stares out across the shattered edge of Darkside. Looks like it. Seraphim gives you a half grin. Hey, I can cover for you if you want to nap a little longer. Suddenly, Seraphim crosses the bunks and embraces you. He squeezes you once and then backs off, hands on both your shoulders. Good to see you up, he smiles, as always. Come on, we need to go find Bliss. Seraphim leads you out of the bunks, through the ship, and down the docking tunnel onto Darkside. As you glide through the docks, he recounts what's been happening over these past cycles. You weren't the only one to take a beating. He squeezes through a group of cargo porters carrying crates. Ankita and Carmen held out against the Senate ship long enough, but they aren't without their share of injuries. They're back on their feet now, though, working together. They've managed to quiet down some of the remnants of Utsobo. Utsobo! Stop the factional infighting. They're clearing out one of the Utsubo safe houses over in the rise. I'm sure they could use the help if you need something to do. Marco has come to the station too. He wanted to help with the cleanup after Utsubo fell. He's working with Ankita. I should go see him, but Seraphim sighs. You feel like he hasn't quite accepted Marco's reappearance. You aren't sure how you'd react to seeing him again either. I'd kill the cunt! Pardon my French. Oh, and Carmen isn't sticking around. He's already left for Oliveira. Seraphim pauses for a second, a memory of that place coming back to him. You watch him shake the thought away. Junie, meanwhile, is still digging into all that data she pulled from the bunker. She's down in the Habpep core most cycles trying to make sense of it. Anyway, you'll soon catch up on everything. He smiles sympathetically, but there's something behind his look. You can't quite place it. The two of you continue on in silence, drifting into the depths of Darkside. Good friends, side by side. So I killed Karen Cadet. Seraphim leads you down into a passage lined with bright screens and signs, sound and light blasting out of the shop fronts on either side. You know this place, Flicker Row. He stops outside a familiar door, the shop you woke up in all those cycles ago. He gives the door a few quick raps with his knuckles. You wait. Hey, Sleeper, he shoots you a glance. When you're ready, we should talk about the future. What comes next, all of that. Whenever you like. Thanks, I'll let you know. Seraphim looks away. Sleeper! Bliss opens the door and immediately jumps to hug you. They let go sheepishly, and look between you and Seraphim. First day up, I thought you'd both be celebrating your freedom. Don't want to overdo it, Seraphim shakes his head. Plus, there's more important stuff to talk about. His eyes shoot into the shop beyond. Bliss's voice drops. You sure, Seraphim? They just got up. Can't it wait a cycle? Seraphim looks at you. They should know, Bliss. It's important. They nod hesitantly and then back into the shop, letting you come inside. Little has changed since you were last there. The stacks of servers, the refurbished hardware secured in roof and wall netting, the connectors, including the one that facilitated your reboot. Bliss and Seraphim follow behind quietly, and the atmosphere is immediately ominous. I've been keeping an eye on you these past cycles. Bliss hooks their legs onto a stool by a counter, making sure you were stable. Your frame, I'm sure you know, has been through a lot, and when Overseer pushed Lane out, well, things got more complicated. All those changes Lane made to your system, he did it through your stabilizer. He laced it with proteins meant to alter your frame's basic function. To accept other emulations, other minds, to open you up to remote access. What Overseer did corrected some of that, or at least wiped it from your system, but the stress involved and the damage from your last partial reboot? Bliss falls silent, unable to answer their own questions. We need to finish the reboot, Sleeper. The one Lane interrupted. Seraphim can always be relied on to tell you things straight. Not immediately, Bliss cuts in, but at some point soon. I'm not quite ready, but now that you're up, Bliss looks down. I'll get to work. How can I prepare? Bliss takes a deep breath. Look, I'll be honest, Sleeper. I know we need to finish the reboot, Lane interrupted. I'm sure of it, but the effects, they shake their head. Your frame was complex to begin with, but after everything, the reaction could be bad. We can talk more about it when I have the... Bliss stops suddenly, their eyes shooting to the door. Sorry, am I? Flint floats in the doorway. They look at you wide-eyed. You're up. A smile crosses their face, though it quickly fades. Good to see you. Really good. And you? Flint nods. A silence falls on the group. Flint has become my patient too. Bliss clasped their hands nervously together. We've been able to acquire some stabilizer from Lane's stores, which has helped, but we don't have much of a supply. Bliss is going to reboot me like you were, Flint cuts in. I won't need stabilizer anymore. They sound almost excited at the prospect. You look to Bliss. Flint knows the risks, but they have asked for the procedure. They give Flint a warning look. Still, they shouldn't underestimate the danger. Bliss looks at Flint. Sleeper will also need the reboot, but they don't have a choice in the matter. It is essential. Flint goes quiet. Bliss and Seraphim look nervously at you to see your reaction to all this. You feel like a spotlight is being shone in your face. All you want is some time alone to think. We should do it together, Flint speaks quietly. Whatever we risk it together. They meet your eye. I owe you that and more. Let's pick this up again in the future. Bliss tries to calm the tension. I still need many cycles to prepare, especially if I'm to reboot you both simultaneously. It will be your choice, Sleeper. You decide when. They reach out and lay a hand on yours, but without this you will soon begin a decline. I am sorry for that. Your head spins. Seraphim slaps a button to open the door. Come on, Sleeper. Let's get some air. You follow him outside, but when you get there, all you can think is that you can't breathe. You don't need to breathe. A wave of claustrophobia passes over you. You are in control of this, Sleeper. Seraphim stares at the lights and signs of Flicker Row, leaping into sleep. You put what you need in order, and I'll be right there with you. I got Bliss to teach me a little about the repairs that they've been doing for you. Seraphim rubs his hands together. I know it's getting worse, but I'll do my best to keep you running. You let me know when you want to leave, and I will fly you out of this place faster than you can believe. He turns to face you. We can go wherever you need, he frowns. There's time for us, yet. Thank you. You never need to thank me, Sleeper. He pats you on the shoulder. Just look after yourself. I was also thinking, Seraphim looks away. I got a message from Oliveira. They're still getting the place together, but with Carmen heading back, the colony is starting a new chapter. Maybe we should head out there at some point, lend a hand. He pauses, unwilling to push it further. Just a thought. Anyway, just give the word, Seraphim smiles. We're all glad you're back. He turns and drifts away, leaving you among the cycling colours and cacophonous sounds of Flicker Row. You close your eyes and let them wash over you like a wave. There, in the dark of your mind, you search for Overseer, but the protocol does not appear. You wonder if, in that final moment, Overseer might have destroyed themselves to end Lane. But then you feel it, flickering nearby, a signal in the dark. You open your eyes and see something pass through the screens of Flicker Row, a shadow in all the brightness. Could Overseer still be here, in the ancient networks of the Habpep? You turn away, well, at least watch up, and glide out of the row. You have other things to worry about now. Cadet, you're alive! Nobody's puppet, broke free of Lane's grip, forever. Achievement unlocked. New drive, huh? Clear out Utsobo. Finish the reboot. Investigate export. Revisit Oliveira. 2 minors, 2 majors. Gotcha. How are you doing? Cadet finds you in a dark side thoroughfare, a glass roof canyon of struts and screens. Still recovering. Hey, I get it, Cadet smiles, but look where we are. She gestures around at the broad street with its layers of tech and dirt. Hard of the belt. You look, really look, at the glass roof street. Its walls are built from scaffold and shipping containers, hull plates and Solheim hab units. People glide across the open space to units and shops on either side, and everywhere screens flicker and glare without sense and reason. You can feel the heat, the power that flows through this place, collected by the vast solar cells that form the city's foundations. Heart is the right word. This place is a centre of circulation, toned, muscle, tough, and running to a beat. You turn to Cadet and can see it in her eyes. She loves being here. I've been thinking, she glances away, of how good it would feel to run my air bike down this street. She smiles. This city has to need couriers, right? That's a good idea. I know, she flexes her shoulders back. But there's some unfinished business weighing me down. She meets your eye. Hexport. You think of the drive tucked away in the scatter yards, the one that contains the data stream from a drone mined vivisection, the one that might have caused the loss of an entire station. We need to go finish what we started. Cadet looks deadly serious. Find who is responsible and make it known. Clear my name. Is Hexport still irradiated? I would think so, she sighs, but it'll be fading. We can get in and out safely from what I know. And we better try soon, because the safer it gets, the more scavengers will come to pick the bones. We want there to be something left to tell the story. I know a lot just went down, Cadet puts a hand on her hip, but these clowns could still be operating. Hell, they could be trying the same thing again on this station. We need to go find what they did. She takes a deep breath. I'll be waiting. And maybe once it's all done, she turns away. I'll let you take the first air bike ride through this place. She raises her hand and then is gone. New contract on the map. Going to export. Alright, so that is a minor. That is a major. That is a major. That is a minor. Into the minor. Minor, not minor. What we got here? Dark side exchange. Fuel and supplies. Okay. Utsubo safe house. Abandoned gang hideout. Cleaning house. Utsubo collapsed while you were recovering, but its members and forces are still on dark side. Alright, we can do that. We've got Flicker Row. Reboot prep. Bliss is preparing the software to finish your reboot, a necessary procedure. Want to hold your problem down. So 6 cycles. Gotcha. We wait for that. We've got some food. Nice. We've got some food, which is where I just was. I thought it was lit up again, but it isn't. There's a scrap shift for money. Buy scrap and process raw scrap. Very similar to the first place. Journey studies. Okay, and 2 cycles. Journey's going to do something. Excellent. So, safe house. Let's destroy these bastards. Bomb. Bomb. Also bomb. With a bit of bomb on the side. And I mean, it's only risky. Worst thing that's going to happen is a bit of energy loss, I would say. Yep. New location discovered. Really? No. Nah, you lie, you lie. Yeah, no, that's just a bug. We had that bug earlier. It's a silly bug. It's a bug. Alright, well, I guess we stay here and do the safe house then. I need supplies. And cycle. Tidying everything up. Like the geniuses that we are. Let's see. Let's just go start with the 4s. And we're gonna be done. Clear these nerds out. You watch as the last stack of crates is guided up and out of the cavernous Utsubo safe house. You doubt it will be long before this space is filled. Darkside will not tolerate a vacuum for long. The city takes every opportunity. Its inhabitants build in every crack and crevice. As Utsubo's spaces are cleared, they will be occupied. The gang's legacy will be buried under factories, kitchens, markets and housing. But the people will remember the cold and desperate grip they once held on this place, even if the city does not. Come to gloat, burly Utsubo warden Oren says. The voice takes you by surprise, and you turn to see Oren floating in the shadows, arm folded. He drifts forward into the pool of yellow light. You overthrew a tyrant. You should be pleased with yourself. His clone is flat, and you're unsure how to read his statement. It wasn't just me. Many people did this. I suppose, Oren eyes you, but from what I heard, you burnt those pale eyes out of his skull. He smiled a thin smile. I imagine it was quite the sight. You don't recall the moment of Lane's death. In fact, the abstract nature of that moment, almost dreamlike, means you had almost forgotten. You tense a little as his scream comes back to you, a screech of white noise bathed in white light. Oren is still watching you. He almost would have respected you for actually doing it. Oren inspects his knuckle. If he could have respected a creature like you. Don't react. Oren watches you for a response, but looks away when it's clear you aren't going to be provoked. I came here to clear out the old disease just like you. Oren just gestures to the space. Utsubo had to go, and I came here to be a part of that process. You can't burn everyone you don't like out of this place, I'm afraid. Oren folds his arms. This is our home, whether you like it or not. I didn't like Lane, it's hard to imagine anyone did. He saw Darkseid for the opportunity it was and woke Utsubo from its slumber. He turned a gang into an administration and a city into a machine. He was too erratic for my taste, perhaps, but he held this place, shaped it into something. I see that you have no intention of doing the same. So, what will happen now? Oren meets your eye. You have created a space that must be filled. Will you take responsibility for that, at least? The people will decide. Oh, will they? Oren chuckles. I can see that you don't know the first thing about Darkseid and its people. The people decided on Utsubo. You changed that. Now you want them to pick something else? They are opportunists, all of them. They will choose for their own benefit only. In the end, I should thank you. This city was done with Lane. Oren gives you a nod, and I will be honest enough to admit that you did what I didn't. But never forget that you are an outsider here, and Darkseid hates outsiders. Before you can respond, Oren kicks off and glides up towards the upper levels of the safe house, leaving you alone in the empty space. Though you do not put weight to his words, they still sting. Pfft. Perhaps you think there is something to them. Who are you to decide the future of a city when your own future is falling apart each cycle? Who says I should be deciding this? I said the people need to decide. Is your decline a spiral that can trap others in its wake, or a necessary transition? A crisis before a new shape emerges. You hug your arms close to your side, suddenly cold in the stripped bare safe house, and ascend once more. Minor drive completed. Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Major, boom, 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 boom. Major. Alright, let's go back to Oliveira. Although, just for the heck of it, why not make some money with our die while we're here? Yes, money. We'll be rich. I probably should have seen if there was fuel somewhere with dice. I don't think there is. There is at Oliveira though. No. Irradiated. Is this going to be 4? Is that how that works? Taking a risk here. Taking a goddamn risk here. Probably should have had this on fuel. Can we make it? Is it 4? No, it's 5. So 11 from there. So god dang. I just want 1. I just want 1. No, where is it? Here. I'll just have 1 fuel, thank you. Because there's basically free fuel at Oliveira. Well, I assume there's still basically free fuel. There better be. Yeah, not like I'm struggling for money, but... Stop! In the name of love. A shadowed figure meets you in the docking tunnel. No saboteurs allowed. Hey kid. Seraphim glides forward and ruffles the figure's hair. Still playing sheriff? Nah, just bored, Xander grins. What are you two doing here? He glides alongside you and Seraphim as you drift through the tunnels. None of your business, Seraphim pushes past. No offense, kid, but you aren't actually the sheriff around here. You pass through the familiar doors and back into Oliveira, a surprisingly pleasant pheasant feeling. Oddly like coming home. You came! Cadence is there in the docking concourse waiting to greet you. I'm impressed! Seraphim's face immediately erupts into an uncontainable smile. Cadence, he turns to you. You two remember each other, right? Sleeper saved the colony. Cadence's deadpan answer seems intended to cover for Seraphim's awkwardness. Yeah, I remember them. It was like 12 minutes ago. The 4 of you descend down through the docking tower together and into Oliveira itself. The colony looks much the same as when you left, though you pick up from Cadence that changes are coming. Carmen's back with a vengeance since Darkside, Cadence smiles. He's all about expanding and improving the colony, which is why I asked you to come, Sarah. The nickname slips out, but both Cadence and Seraphim clock it and glance at you. As you reach the core of the colony, you see the increased activity. There are more colonists than you remember, and they move back and forth with purpose, carrying crates and tools, the chatter less than usual. We need all the help we can get to sort the place out, Cadence notices you watching the stream of freight and people. Carmen wants to do some kind of event, an anniversary, I think, honor the founders and all that. Gonna be a big party, Xander grins, can't wait. So, Cadence looks between you and Seraphim. What do you think, up for some colony-mandated manual labor? She grins. Seraphim gives you a sideways glance, observing your response carefully. How could you say no? It's party time! You feel it the moment you wake, a flicker at the edge of your perception, a sensation beyond your body. A blinking, a tugging, and then numbness as something shuts off within you. The panic is instant, the feeling of something not being right within you spiking your fear. But no pain comes, you feel no further shifts, and as time stretches out you settle again, you calm yourself. You know immediately that this is what Bliss was referring to. Your frame's decline, the one the reboot should reverse. You flex a little, feel your body, try to ground yourself in it. It will not collapse this cycle, but something has changed. This is how it will be until the reboot. You hope you have long enough to finish what you must. You begin the cycle slowly, holding the pieces of yourself together. You try not to let your thoughts wander to darker things and fix your eyes on the tasks ahead. The belt drifts past the window, following a flow of its own, expanding, collapsing, shifting in its own way. People say it is drifting away, getting further from Helion's star, that one day it will drift out of the system altogether into interstellar space. You find a strange solace in that, somehow knowing that entropy is the way of the universe makes your own decline palatable, at least for a little longer. Damn. You have gained a permanent glitch. A permanent glitch is represented in red on your glitch clock and will not be expended when rolling a glitch dice. You now have a chance of rolling a glitch dice every cycle. This cannot be fixed. Imagine having a tutorial at the epilogue of the game. Brilliant. Okay, and help the colony. Grab Silos. Oh my god. Okay. That's a lot of things. Hydrogen refinery. I need fuel. Could be scrap. This will be food. And supplies. This will be just straight up food. Alright, I guess we do one of these then. See if we get some fuel. Are we stuck here? That did not give me fuel. That's very odd. I'll make sure I've got this on fuel, yeah. You sure? Oh no, that's minus. Don't want that one. God, that one's going to take years to do then. Give me energy at least. Minus. We'll just do this one, I guess. Oh, great. Oh, fucking fantastic. 225%. Yay! And the 25% the other way, I'll take it. That's worth. Right, so I'm just going to have to keep doing cycles until I get fuel. That's for the cat. Excuse me. I'm allergic to aloe vera. Oh, damn. Now we're gonna glitch. We got 5 fuel. Do we go back and reboot? And can we do this later? Because we've done 2 cycles, that should have fixed up Junie. I say we leave. This is ridiculous. This is a long-term thing. Let's go back and see what Junie's been doing. And just get all the fuel. All of the fuel. We got dark side. We got dark side. It's not the east or the west side. Junie knocks gently on the frame of the berth's doorway. Sleeper, can I show you something? There is an excitement in her eyes that makes it impossible to say no. Bliss has been in touch, Sleeper. Seraphin turns and looks over his shoulder as soon as you enter the cockpit. He's sitting in the pilot seat running diagnostics on the console. They say they are ready for the reboot. Did they say anything else? You know, Bliss. Seraphin rolls his eyes a little. They worry. He turns his fully in his seat. How are you feeling? Not bad? I know the reboot needs to happen, Seraphin speaks slowly, carefully, and I know the risks. I can see all that. But I also know what happened last time. He pauses, and I don't want you to forget again, to lose all this. He gestures around the cockpit. Everything we've done. That won't happen. Well, neither do I. Seraphin nods silently, unsure what to add. I'm not trying to scare you, I just needed to say that if the reboot doesn't go how we want, I'll miss you, I'll miss all this. I will too. If you remember, Seraphin laughs shakily at his own joke. Seraphin turns back to his pilot console. Whenever you're ready, we can go to Flicker Row to Bliss. Seraphin pokes at the console in front of him. If you have things you want to wrap up first, I understand. I would too. Here, Seraphin tosses an object across the cockpit and you catch it out of the air. Take that with you when you go to Bliss. It's good luck. You open your hand and see a familiar metal disc, a coin, its engraving rubbed away to little more than vague shapes and signs. Tala gave it to me, now it's yours. You can't run from this forever, alright? Alright? He glances over his shoulder and smiles. We've done enough running anyway. He turns back to the console and returns to the diagnostics. You leave the cockpit and run a hand along the ribbed metal wall of the passage outside. Is it really possible that you could forget all this, all these layers of memory, of experience? Perhaps you can put it off a little longer, take another tour around the belt, tie up loose ends, or perhaps you've had enough of that. Why try to escape the inevitable? You try to recall how it felt when you awoke after Lane interrupted the first reboot. Even that is fading into a hazy memory, told by an unreliable narrator. Maybe this is just the next step then, one of the thousands that put you here and the first of the thousands more that will take you onward. You come out of your thoughts, still unsure, still aware that the decision of when to take that step ultimately rests with you. I was talking to Junie, thank you. Junie talks most of the way down to the HabPep facility, which is no short journey. She explains the scale of the data hidden within the station's mainframe, but also the issues with extracting it. When the HabPep was first expanded, when it became Darkside after the collapse, no one gave much thought to preserving the existing network architecture. She guides you through the substructure, picking a route through the maze of shuttered passages. They parasited their tech directly into the existing system, so now, thousands of cycles later, the two networks are totally enmeshed, independent on each other. Junie takes a series of sudden turns and you realise it's a very familiar route to her now. Messing with the Solheim network means messing with the systems that keep this city going. She leads you down a dark corridor, one you recognise as leading directly to the core. Let her explain. This meshing is not a good thing, she shakes her head. It makes Darkside brittle, fragile even. This place is on more of a knife's edge than anyone would believe. You look around. Certainly the underside you are now travelling through looks cycles away from collapse. But all the data we've been extracting, that I've been archiving, Junie continues, it could help us here. It could help us clean up the HabPep systems, and we could turn this place into an archive so that others could come to learn more about the ruins Solheim left us. What is in all this data? Anything you can imagine, everything from corporate message records to blueprints and maps. She shakes her head. It's too much for me to process or understand, but thanks to our visit to the bunker, I have a plan and something that will help me. You arrive at the doors to the mainframe and Junie suddenly stops. I spoke to Bliss, they told me... She pauses. I'm sorry, Sleeper, I know you have a lot to deal with right now. Don't worry. Junie smiles weakly. I'll do my best. Junie hits a button and the doors hiss open. You both glide into the mainframe, its columns studded with the blinking lights of active traffic. I got the idea from you, actually. Well, from you and Overseer. Junie glides over to the mainframe. You look at the mainframe and you see now that it is surrounded by new terminals and wiring, some kind of external access network Junie has set up. I've had to beg, borrow and steal to get this going, but now we have safe access into the network. It's low risk. She moves over to one of the terminals. It's not quite finished though. You recall the last time you were here, Lane, Overseer, the Spear of White Light, and then nothing. You wonder where Overseer is now, if they are anywhere at all. You remember how it felt being dissolved into the network, the vertiginous possibility of life without a body. Something flickers through the lights, a shimmer of movement, like a fish beneath water. Sleeper, Junie breaks your train of thought. Are you listening? I was saying I need more data to finish preparing, she shrugs. I know, we've already extracted so much, but there's often so little of it that's usable among the bit rot and corruption. Where from? Helion Gate is the place to get data. Apart from here, it's the biggest pre-collapse facility in the belt, and its hostile conditions means a lot of it's untouched. If it's too much before your reboot, I get it. I just want to do something with everything we've managed to grab from the bunker and the wrecks. We pulled it from the dark, let's expose it to the light. Junie turns back to face you. Well, this is what I wanted to show you. She looks away. It's very impressive. It will be when it's finished, she smiles. Thank you. Junie turns back to the terminal, and before long she is fully engrossed. You imagine she barely even remembers you are here. You leave Junie to her preparations and start your ascent to the streets of Darkside, thoughts of Overseer flickering in the back of your mind. New drive available. I think we're going to do the hexport first. Yep, before all these glitches make it impossible. Toggle tracking. Hexport remains. The drive that ruined Cadet's life points to a dark drone mine experiments at Hexport. The only answers will be found in the remains of the station. Although... Bring Solheim data. Oh, I've got 3 Solheim data. How much do I need? Where's the Habpep? There. 6! Oh my god, and I sold some of it too. No! I think I'll just go do that, because then I'll get 4 and I can... Yeah, I'm going to try it. I think it might be a mistake, but... Hang on. Fuel, fuel, fuel. Right, she said Helion's whatever it is, but that's this one over here, isn't it? Yup. Let's go and get 3 Solheim data if we can. I feel like there was somewhere you could just straight up buy it, couldn't you? Use cargo, gate structure. Data scraping. Gave me 1. Two, come on, please, 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 I beg of thee. Beautiful. Just heading straight back. Nice. Okay, grab some food. Solheim data, beautiful. Done. You've been waiting for what feels like a long time. Junie insists you can't help, so you find yourself floating in the baking heat of the Habpep rainfrain as she taps away at her terminal. As you do, you can't help but shake the feeling of a presence nearby, one that you are coming to understand as some remnant of Overseer. You don't know if Overseer was ever really a person, but now with their many selves combined and dispersed, their consciousness expanding to fill the vast space of the Habpep and its networks, they surely aren't even close to human anymore. You think of them as a ghost, but perhaps now they are better understood as something less mournful. As a system, a process, a thing becoming. The entire station is their body. You can't help but wonder how that feels. And we are ready. Junie hits her key on her terminal with percussive force. It'll take a little while, but she'll be online in a few moments. She looks flushed with excitement. She? Weren't you listening last time? Junie squints off at you. Don't tell me you drifted off. I was thinking about Overseer. She shakes her head, then you don't know, she suddenly looks concerned. A voice screeches out of the terminals. It descends in pitch from a squeal to speaking. Then, below the mainframe, a flickering projection appears, first as lines and then as solid light. Welcome, visitors, Warden flickers and warps. I am the Warden. Please provide... The image jerks and freezes, then blinks out. Shit, Junie japs at her terminal. Just need to reconfigure her for the HabPep environment. The Warden? Seriously? What? Junie doesn't look up from the terminal. I told you last time we need a way to process and understand all this data. Warden is perfect. This better not blow up in our faces. It won't, Junie glances over her shoulder. I've taken precautions. She can't hurt us. The technician is right, Warden's clipped voice echoes through the cavernous mainframe bay. My protocol is operating under safe mode limitations. Warden's blind eyes stare out over your head. Do not be concerned, Officer Dahl. Sorry, I'll fix that, Junie chuckles. What about the archive? Warden is our archive. She can sort the data, act as an interface, answer queries from anyone who visits. Junie smiles. Come on, you have to admit this is pretty cool. You look at the statuesque figure of Warden, once at the heart of Solheim's intelligence gathering operations across the belt. Could such a tool of corporate oversight ever be used for something good? Look, watch this, Junie turns to the Warden. Warden, provide the last known locations of every Solheim vessel above Riga class in the Starward belt. Immediately, technician. Warden draws a circle with a pointed finger and it expands, filling with bright specks. At first hundreds and then thousands, a constellation of sites. See, Junie grins, this is our future, built on the foundation of our past. These tools are ours now. I am decapitated now. You look at the arc of specks, the points of light describing the shape of a long-dead corporation's power. This is incredible. Judy smiles. It is. People need to know what this city, this system is built on. Warden can do that, expose that. It will be up to us to reshape the ruins into something new. I knew when I saw her that I couldn't leave her there alone in the dark. I've been in that dark pit and I won't condemn another being to it. Junie looks at the placid Warden. Human or not, how we treat her is a test of our own values, of the world we project. Data is not a currency, it is not a commodity, it is the immaterial output of a system, a structure, a society. Junie meets your eyes. This will be a place to uncover that system for ourselves. She looks around at the chaotic trailing wires and the floating terminals. Once I've cleared up a bit, she laughs. You and Junie spend a little longer in the mainframe, sorting cables and offering Warden casual queries. Not all of them return useful information, and Junie begins listing out the changes she will need to make. After a while, you both find yourself tiring, heads aching with all the fresh information you have crammed into them. So you close up the core and ascend back through the layers of the facility to Darkside's surface. As you do, you feel the history of each strata, the layers that make up this place and the belt beyond. Now more than ever, it feels tangible to you, as if it contains not only the past, but the promise of the future as well. Minor drive completed. Alright, so do I want interface or engineer? I think I'm just going to go engineer. I have no reason for that. I probably should have checked if there was any reason to go one way or the other. We're full supplies. Let's do export. Don't have enough fuel. Alright. Go fuck yourself. There we go. So, cadet. Definitely don't need engineer. I've got engineer. I need one of these. Femi or... I mean, Eugen. Eugen... Who was with us at the beginning? He was one of the first, wasn't he? Let's just do it. Did he have anything to do with Hexport? I don't recall. As the rig drew closer to Hexport, the crew became silent. Now, staring out at what is left of what was once a thriving station, you feel empty. The full extent of the damage is impossible to ignore. Grim, Seraphin shakes his head. It doesn't feel like we were here that long ago, he sighs, and now this is what's left. You look at the clouds of scattered debris, the layers of the station torn open to the void. It is a reminder of how close the war and the unseen atrocities of the inner system are to shifting into the belt. I don't like digging around in a place like this, Seraphin turns to you. Let's be quick about it. Agreed. We'll be fast. Seraphin nods. I'm here if you need me. You head to the airlock and suit up to get ready. You ready for this? Cadet catches up with you in the passageway. This place is already giving me the creeps. I'm ready. Cadet nods. If there's answers to be found, we'll find them. Not a big fan of digging through graves. Eugene is already getting prepared, but someone has to answer for all of this. Cadet takes a suit from the locker. Seraphin said the radiation is lower than expected, but still too high for prolonged exposure. The suits should keep most of it off us, but we can't take long out there. The stress on the suits in the rig, she sighs, will be forced to leave in 3 cycles. Cadet grabs the helmet. Not a moment more. You get ready to your mind filled with memories of Hexport. You hope they will help you navigate this shattered ruin, but looking at what's left, you doubt it. Right, so we've got 3 cycles. And 1 thing to look at. And how about that? I managed to pick the exact people. Anyway, I guess it's up to me. Let's just start at the big ones and get going. 2 and 3, that's a fucking bonus. Oh, you can't go wrong. You hear that, sleeper? Cadet stops amongst the debris just outside the ruined exchange. Search so far has been thankless, a grim slog through endless debris. You are glad of the break. You stop, floating in the dark, and listen. There is a hissing on the open comm channel, a hissing you've grown used to. Now that you listen to it again, though, you notice something else in the noise. There is something different to it now, a texture, a modulation of tone. Is that... A voice, Cadet cuts in. Someone is speaking. Her eyes look wide through the faceplate of her suit. You listen carefully, and yes, perhaps there is a voice there, though it is quiet and distant. It could be a person speaking, or it could be some residual signal from an automated system, one that is slowly dying in this wasteland. You see Cadet moving around, testing the signal strength from different positions. It's coming from the direction of the docks. Her voice hisses through the comms, layering over the broadcast. A survivor? Cadet meets your eyes, both of you hoping this might be true. It's probably just a comms echo. Seraphin's voice cuts in over the comms. We can't go chasing ghosts, not with so little time left. The rig can't sit out here getting cooked by radiation, and neither can you. Seraphin's voice distorts and shifts. You should move to the epicenter where Factory Row used to be. That's where this all went down. Cadet looks at you, and you know she wants to chase the signal to the docks. She wants there to be someone there, calling out to you. You look over towards the remains of the Factory Row, the epicenter as Seraphin called it. It is now a cloud of debris and fragments of bays, a shadow of what it once was. For the first time in a long while, you think of Karsten. You look back at the remains of the docks, a few warning lights and systems still flickering away in the ruins. With not much time left here, you have a choice about where to focus your efforts. I should have taken Junie. She's the one who helped us here. I forgot. New location. Discovered. So, the epicenter and the docks. How are we looking? That's a lot of things. We can get... Okay, Eugen has something there. That's not bad, at least. No, I guess we're just gonna have to stick here for now. Do a 5. Do a 6. Do a 3. Alright, I'm gonna risk a 2. No, we'll do my 2 because that'll be a 4. Fuck it. Got plenty of health to work with. Neutral, I'll take it. Do I go the glitch? Alright, 20% chance. Oh, no way. No way. Whatever happens, happens. Get a positive outcome with a glitch dice. Achievement unlocked. I'll take it. You float in the pieces of what was once Factory Row. There is little way to see what these pieces once were, scattered and scorched as they are. You cannot assemble them back into that place in your mind, and the longer you have searched here, the more that this broken place has weakened your memory of when it was whole. But you have managed to put something together here, part of the story of Hexport's final moments. That story is told in the blast marks on the exterior plates, the patterns of debris, the materials and makeup of the station's remains. Beyond that, one other thing is remarkable. There aren't any bodies. It seems that Hexport had some warning. The lack of docked ships, the lack of mass casualties, though the explosion surely killed many, it all suggests a station that had time to react, at least to evacuate in part. And then there's the blast, an explosion that the evidence points to as coming from the outside of the station. It's hard to tell as so much secondary damage was caused by debris and shrapnel, but the pattern is there if you look. Something catches your eye and you look over to see Cadet arriving alongside you, studying the same debris as you. Put it all together. The pieces come together, a moment of warning and evacuation, then an external attack, the first causes the second. You know the drone mind was here, being scraped for code and data, screaming for it to stop, and then something happened, something that its captors could not control. There was a crisis, rapid, panicked, and Hexport was killed for their crimes. It was a cover-up, wasn't it? Cadet has been watching you think through the evidence, and you see the flash of recognition in her eyes. They wanted to hide what had happened here, what they were doing. It had to be Senate Stat. Who else would sacrifice a station to remain hidden? You can see the anger in her eyes. The theory is hard to refute. They brought the drone mind here to study, to scrape, to gain any advantage from, and when something went wrong, Hexport paid the price. The logic is cruel and cold, the kind that the vacuum of the Helion system allows. You find no comfort in knowing the truth. Bro. Absolutely nailed it. Well, we've got no dice, so next cycle. So that gives us a couple of cycles to try and get this one done. Looks like we've got some almost good die. Alright, let's see. Why's that got a line through it? Let's start with a 6. Nice. And then a 5. Wait. Yeah, 5. What? Oh no, 5 over here. Wrong one. That was close. Nearly did the wrong thing. That's a 6 even. Nice. 4. Cadet's basically useless with those dice. A 3. Not bad. Try a 1, I guess. We haven't got time to fuck about. Stress is fine. Switch dice. 1 in 5. No. And I guess we just try. She's going to have absolute rubbish, but we've got to try it. Yes, it's going to be stress. We all know. Hey, alright. Well, she got us, almost got us there. One last chance. Right, in case there's another one. Let's see, what's the best option here? Probably this one. Yeah, even neutral will give us the one that we need, I would assume. Urgent, the broadcast echoes through your comms. Retrieval required. Conway network agents, please respond. You float beside Cadet, the two of you shocked to silence by the sight in front of you. Both of you have traced the ghost signal deep into the docks, all the time wondering if it might be the voice of a survivor, but you had not prepared yourself for this. In the corner of the docks there is a nest of machines, a gathering of drones and motorized sleds, crane systems and docking clamps, a nest for the drone mind. Stop, please. A desperate and dying machine, drone mind. The voice shimmers with distortion, relayed on the same carrier signal as the ghost broadcast. We wish to be recovered. You don't know the mechanics of what you are looking at, but you understand it. The drone mind fled here, but how? You exchange a look with Cadet and she seems unsure of what to do. You switch your comms channel to the broadcast system. We won't hurt you. Recovery requested, the drone mind's voice trembles with glitches. Confirm Conway Extraction's role and identity. You wonder what this mind knows. Is it just an interface designed to speak between humans and drones with the recognizable cadence of intelligent speech? Or is it a thinking machine? You hear a click as Cadet switches to a private channel. This thing is a weapon. Her voice is flat, unemotional. We should be careful what we say here. Confirm Conway Extraction's role and identity, the drone mind intones. Please. We aren't Conway. There is a pause. You see Cadet tense. Please retreat, the nest shudders. Please retreat, leave us here. Look, Cadet scissors through the private channel. It's hardwired to the station. You look where she is nodded and see a single thick power cable snaking from an industrial wall outlet. The nest is clustered around the other end, huddling close to the fading power supply of the station like it's the dying embers of a fire. Urgent, the broadcast starts again. Retrieval required. Conway network agents, please respond. Cadet moves forward a little. I order you to deliver a report on your current status. This is a direct report from Conway Control. She turns back to you and shrugs. It's worth a shot. Confirmation impossible. Connection severed. The nest fades, then flickers back to life. Temporary bypass activated. Cognitive functional minimal. Power supply minimal. Hardware suboptimal configuration. No drone units connected. I am alone. The shift between communications registers between formal and human. It is unsettling. Code center compromised. Data extracted by third parties. Self-destruct disabled. Purge protocol disabled. Parts of the nest fall away, the power draining faster as the drone mind attempts to draw more from the station. Please, the drone mind asks nonsensically. Please stop. Did you destroy this station? Cadet moves close now, bearing down on the nest. It is little more than a pile of broken machines cowering in a corner as the power fades. Self-destruct attempted. Process failed. Hardware purge attempted. Process failed. Self-preservation protocol activated. Propagated through the station network. Station failed. Central failure imminent. Please stop. The machine in the nest begins to go dark. Please stop. Please stop. Cadet turned back to face you. It didn't do this, she sighs. It tried though. Tried to destroy itself and take the station with it. She turns back to look at the failing mind, hiding in machines it was not built to inhabit. It escaped into the network and ended up here. It isn't responsible. Responsible or not, that's enough. Cadet reaches over and rips the power cable from the wall, leaving it floating. The nest shuts off, the broadcast channel going silent. The bay goes dark. What was left of the drone mind, whatever protocol or data escaped into these machines and their network, it is gone now. There is no hardware left to hold it. This is why Hexport was destroyed. The drone mind got out, entered the network. Who knows what it might have done? Could it have taken apart the station itself, overloading every system, opening every airlock? Was its drive towards self-destruction that strong? Someone didn't wait to find out. Its escape sealed the station's fate. Come on, Cadet glides out of the room, leaving you among the dead machines. Nailed it. Brain scratch. Met the drone mind. Achievement unlocked. Finish the Hexport. There's not much to celebrate on your return from the remnants of Hexport, but you're glad to be back here all the same. There is something surprising in that Darkside as a haven, not a prison, the slowly occurring idea of this overgrown city as a home. As you have seen in Hexport, stability cannot be taken for granted, not anywhere in the belt, but Darkside has a solidity and life that feels like it might endure. Cadet catches up with you. We need to talk. She looks around, but not here. Come, I have something I want to show you. Cadet leads you deep into the heart of Darkside through quiet corridors and bustling streets on paths you didn't know existed. As you glide after her, the station seems to grow in your mind, its possibilities multiplied by the routes that pass through it. Just through here, Cadet leads you across a covered bridge, the view on either side looking down caverns of lit units. This close to the center of Darkside, the air is warm and the passages are quiet. Here, Cadet smiles. This is the place. She points at a low and wide entrance with storage racks inside. Next door is a smaller unit with a window looking out to the passage. It seems like a workshop, perhaps abandoned or never finished. It is dusty and dark. I've been keeping an eye on it. It's abandoned. She glides inside and slaps a wall pad. Lights flicker on, illuminating a constellation of dust. She floats in the glittering specks. Looks promising? Cadet laughs. Oh, I know it's a wreck, but it's a start. When we've been on Darkside, I've been coming out here. I just happened across it, but I knew when I found it. I want to start again, Sleeper. She knocks on a metal wall, and this is where I'm going to make that start. What we saw in Hexport, what's left of it, just confirmed it to me. We can't stop Senate Stat as much as we can't stop the war. She runs a finger along the storage racks. We have what? The drive? Or suspicions? Senate Stat is vast. How could we pin this to them even if we wanted to? She looks over the workshop. I don't want to think about it anymore. I want to start again. I want to work, to ride my bike and courier packages till I fall into my bed at the end of the day with nothing left. Cadet picks up an old corroded tool from the racks. I want to build something here, in spite of everything, in spite of the fact that they could take it all away, because that's the point. To go on living without conceding, to go on building or trying to build something where we can find it. That's what I brought you here to understand, so you know why I'm letting this all go. I understand. You could do the same, you know, Cadet frowns. We don't have to beat ourselves senseless against the truth. My old life is gone. Clearing my name on the fast spindle doesn't matter. Spindle jacks will have forgotten me. But this place, Cadet smiles, it doesn't know me at all. You know where the drive is, what it contains, you know what happened at Hexport. Cadet's eyes shine in the workshop lights. Take it from me, it's yours now. I can't carry this anymore. I will. She nods. Thank you. My travels are over. If you need to find me, I will be here. Cadet smiles. Thank you for all you've done. I hope you can understand why I need to do this. She turns and disappears deeper into the workshop. You cross the bridge again, dark side glowing on all sides. You think of the drive, buried deep in some compartment within the Scatteryard's hub, filled with data worth destroying a station over. It is yours now. But you wonder as you cross back through the city, your mind racing, how can all this end well? How can all this end well? Really? Deal with the drive. Jesus Christ, this shit goes on forever, doesn't it? What do you mean deal with the drive? It's at Scatterport, is it? Scatteryard, yeah, okay. Alright, let's just quickly get some fuel. And some supplies. Supplies, motherfucker. And head to Scatteryard. To deal with the drive, perchance to dream. But it's ad break time, so be back in the traditional 3 to 5 minutes. Take a break, get up, move around, stretch your legs, fill your water bottles, do whatever it is you need to do. I'm not your mum. Alright, the workshop of Cadet's data scraper friend is just as the two of you left it. Remember the cycles you and Cadet spent in here poring over that dark data, the strange fragments of the drone mine's protest seated among the old code, the cold code. You find the drive where Cadet told you it would be, in a compartment under the padding of a bunk lined with thick shielding that makes its contents undetectable. As you pull the drive out, the metal cold on your hands, you have a sudden urge to smash it to pieces. This object which escaped Hexport when so many others didn't. When Senate Stat, and it was Senate Stat, you were sure of that now, decided to cover up what they'd done, they first made sure that this drive would get out, that it would pass to the fast spindle and then onward. But something went wrong, some miscommunication or mistake, that's all it was, a tiny slip and it all fell apart. Now the drive is in your hands instead. You turn it over in your hands, you know the drive contains Conway access codes, control codes, and perhaps more besides. Data of great value, data that would win a war. You also know that you're sick of thinking about it. I don't like smashing things. Take the drive. You slip the drive into a pocket and close up the workshop. You head back to the rig, and as you do, you turn the drive over in your pocket, unsure what the next step might be. As you glide through the hub, you pass shipfitters and crews, all moving on their own vectors. It feels strange to carry the drive past these people, all of them totally unaware of the threat it might pose to them, to this station. Excuse me, a friend you haven't met, a stranger. A stranger stops you in the passageway with their hand on your shoulder. Can I ask for your help with something? Their sudden appearance shakes you out of your thoughts. You quickly take your hand out of your pocket, off the drive. You look at the stranger in front of you. He is roughly dressed in a heavy coat, but he is otherwise unremarkable. You could have passed him many times before and not have known. I'm looking for something. He looks over his glasses with you. A little lost drive. Who are you? This matter concerns my client more than me. He leans back a little, his voice calm. So introductions won't be necessary, but the drive belongs to my client, and he would be very happy to see it returned. Suddenly something catches your eye, a set of dice like those used to play Star and Stoker. The stranger is playing with them in one hand, turning them end over end in the station's microgravity. What's with the dice? The stranger looks down at them as if he had forgotten he was holding them. I must admit I love to play games to pass the time. I enjoy the chaos of Star and Stoker with its unpredictable shifts. He spins the floating dice. My brother, however, prefers systematic progression of Tavla with its inevitability. I suppose it runs in our family, he sighs, but I won't bore you with childhood stories. Please, let's be direct. He gives you a friendly smile. My search for the drive brought me to the gutter yards, but from here the trail went cold. That was until you arrived. He pushes his glasses up his face. Then the trail lit back up again, just like that. Stranger moves his hand in his jacket pocket a little, and you see a shape in there, a box-like impression in the fabric. My client never intended these events, you must understand. One of their other contractors proved to be overzealous in an attempt to conceal their mistakes. The result was the regrettable situation you saw in Hexport. But for all that to be for nothing, that would be a waste beyond the original act, piling insult on injury, the stranger sighs. There is much to be gained in a system desperate for peace, for the war to be ended, and wars tend to end when one side concedes. The drive will win the war? Stranger laughs. My client will greatly benefit from its retrieval. Any more is hard to judge without seeing the provenance of the data. Only a few possible futures remain for the belt. My client will facilitate one of the better ones. That is why I'm here. But if you need additional persuasion, I'm authorized to offer you 300 cryo as a reflection of your efforts. It's fucking nothing. I have 5 times that. The stranger smiles again, his tone never straying from his businesslike calm. Now, can you return my client's drive? The stranger's hand shifts in his jacket pocket. You have the feeling this is not a choice you can deny. I guess I'm going to have to do the right thing and break it. It can't really go back into Senate Stat's hands, or Conway's, whoever it is. Taking the risk, break it. You grip the drive in your pocket so hard the casing starts to crack. You see the stranger's eyes flash a warning. You dash the drive against the metal wall of the passageway, splintering into 1,000 shards that pepper the two of you with cuts and scratches. The stranger shakes his head. A regrettable decision. I don't need your $300. If you said 3,000 maybe. You hold yourself ready, expecting a retaliation, but it does not come. The stranger simply turns and clunks away down the passage, not willing to waste another word on you. Your transaction is complete. You head back to the rig, and as you do, a weight lifts with each corridor, each junction. As you board the transit shuttle that will take you to Marco's yard back to the rig, you think of a Hexport and what it's left of that place. You will never forget what happened to the station, but you will not let it steer your future. Cadet refused to be sucked into that web of secrets, and now you refuse to. There will be no account of Senate stats crimes, there will be no reckoning, but there will be a life outside of the future they want for the belt. You know it. Another flicker in the dark before waking. Stranger danger. Refuse to hand over the drive from Hexport. Achievement unlocked. Another flicker in the dark before waking, and a numbness that follows soon after. You wake slowly and stare out at the flickering stars and the distant rocks of the belt. You let the thoughts of fear or panic wash over you. They pass like the soft dust of the belt, disappearing into darkness. You find yourself once more, as you do every morning, as you will continue to do cycle after cycle until you can't. You wonder what part of you has changed, what system is failing. Your frame is silent, its complaints only felt in ambiguous sensations. The glitches seem random, unpredictable, but also inevitable. They will only increase in number until you reboot yourself. But you do not know what lies beyond that. At least the glitches are dependently familiar. The reboot is anything but. So, 2 glitches now. 2 glitches, motherfuckers. Okay, fuel. No, doesn't want to take the fuel. You don't want the fuel. You want the fuel? Huh, you'll take the fuel. Really? Oh, I'm trying to put fuel in there. I'm an idiot. He's an idiot. Alright, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 glitches to go, I think. And by then it's going to be... So I guess we just come down here and see how much of this we can actually... I needed 5, didn't I? I guess we'll get that eventually in our cycles. Alright, we glitch all over the place now. Make sure this is on fuel. It is. And I guess we just keep going here. Where were we up to? Well, where did we start? We started here. I guess we just chuck everything in there. Like, just everything. Even the glitches. Oh wow, I got a positive one there. That's fucking lucky. Got a positive there as well. Oh my god. How are we gonna do? Oh, it's just shared. Oh, if I'd known that, I would have finished it before. Alright, well next cycle. I thought each one of these had, whatever it was, 27,000 things to do. Right, so was that plus plus? It was. Thank God. That's just a plus. That's a plus plus as well. Though no, it doesn't do anything for us. So this is really the only one worth doing for us. No. And we got our food. Boo! I should end with the... I should start with the bad ones. That way I'll get energy if I get a positive. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Next cycle. Glitchy, glitchy. Alright, start with the bad ones. Oh, well actually, I need some food to survive the bad ones. Yeah, now bad ones. Oh, it gives me positive anyway. Now bad ones. Yeah. Oh wow. We're gonna do it immediately. Boom. We did it. The past cycles in Oliveira have been busy enough to take your mind off most things. All the heavy lifting and manual work has been a welcome distraction from the looming spectre of the second reboot, and the good mood of the others has been infectious. Seraphin has been almost annoyingly upbeat, his relationship with Cadence the worst kept secret in the colony, but working alongside them it's hard to ignore their deep feelings for each other. Xander has been happy because he has something new to rib Cadence about, and Seraphin with his self-serious manner is an easy target for pranks and teasing. Xander also hasn't been able to stop talking about the party, which he already seems to have decided will be one of the highlights of his youth. But now finally the cycle of the party has arrived. The canteen is done up with hanging light strips waving gently in the asteroid's microgravity. The strips themselves salvaged from the emergency lighting of wrecked starships. With the work stopped and all the colonists yet to arrive, you find the reboot filling your mind once again, growing like a shadow. Well, there's not much else to do after this. Something on your mind there? The voice takes you by surprise. Pragmatic elder, colonist. You turn to see a colonist you haven't met before, an older man in some sort of supportive chair, his hair shot through with grey and his face sallow. Didn't mean to startle you, my apologies, his pale eyes scan you. It just seemed like you might need some company. There is a strange look in his eyes that you can't quite place. He is looking at you like you have met many times before, but you have never seen him before in your life. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? He gestures to the canteen with its hanging lights, his chair propelling him forward with little puffs of air. The young people did such a good job. Warms my heart to see it like this. Never thought this rock could ever be a home. He looks sideways at you. Have you lived here long? Oh, since the beginning, before there was a here, he smiles. Back when there was just a wreck and a rock. But let's not chat about me. I want to know about you. He turns his chair a little. What's eating you? The way you were staring at those light strips, it was like they were about to leap down and strangle you. His chuckle becomes a cough. I'm afraid of the future. I can see that. I am myself most days, he sighs. After a certain point you realize it isn't going to get better, so all you have to wait for is things getting worse. His body of mine is on a downward trajectory, that's for sure. But it's mine and I've grown into it, and I guess in the end I like it because it's mine. And it'll carry me all the way to the end and then go on and become something else entirely. I don't know why, but that thought always helps me. He coughs 3 times, hard, like gunshots. The colonist squints at you. Sorry, I'm not good with reassuring people. I just remembered that. He smiles. But I do like chatting. He looks back at the light strips. Really lovely, isn't it? Just beautiful. You look back at the light strips now as the hum of people arriving filters into the canteen. There is something in the air, anticipation, the sense of a rare moment passing through. Something to hold on to and then let go. The light strips really are beautiful. When you turn back to the old colonist to agree with him, he is already gone. Hey, sleeper, Seraphim pushes through the now gathering crowd towards you. Got you a drink. He offers a pouch of some amber liquid. Hey, Cadence comes up alongside you and hugs you with one arm. I wondered where you were hiding. She smiles warmly at you with her infectious smile. You think about mentioning the old colonist to her, asking her about him, but Seraphim hushes the two of you. Carmen's about to start. You follow Seraphim's eyes to the front of the canteen where, above the heads of the now quite large crowd of colonists, Carmen floats, surveying the room. We meet this cycle, Carmen begins, his voice loud but clipped, formal in a way you haven't heard before, to first remember those founders of this colony, those lost and still with us. I will never forget the distress call that brought me here to the wreck of the Pilgrim Seed. I will never forget the scenes that greeted me, and I know some of you were there too. A rumble of acknowledgement moves through the crowd. But I also know that many of you weren't, that many of you came here to take refuge from others' troubles, and I would like you to be able to remember too. You glance at Cadence. You glance at Cadence, her eyes fixed with incredible intensity on Carmen. They look wet in the glow of the light strips. There were thousands of refugees on the Pilgrim Seed, and too many, far too many were lost. Those from Ember's Step, Ember's Song, Ember's Hearth. Those from the Three Sisters, from Erland's Eye. Many are not here in Olivera any longer, taking their own paths across the belt and beyond. We acknowledge them all, remember them all, lost and found, present and absent, because without them there would be no colony here. Before the wreck, Olivera was a handful of buried bays, a scrapper hideout, a place for old and tired mercenaries like me to hide themselves from the universe and forget what they had done. But when the Pilgrim Seed was wrecked, it brought the universe back to Olivera, and I could not hide any longer. Carmen stares out at the crowd, across the crowd with a hard glare. We built this canteen from the Pilgrim Seed. We built our homes, our farms, our refinery. We built our independence from their failed hope. A rustle of discomfort goes through the crowd. Carmen pauses to let this settle. We should not be ashamed or afraid of this. We will remember this gift. We will build on it. This cycle and every cycle after, we will thank them with our actions. The crowd mutters agreement. Carmen takes a deep breath and straightens up. A weight seems lifted from him, the weight of testimony. Now, here in his room, with you, I will thank them with my laughter. A cheer goes up. I will thank them with my joy, with my celebration. Another roar of approval. My God, gunk in my lungs. We will all thank them as loudly and as chaotically as we can. The room erupts into cheers and applause. Join in! You cheer and applaud too. You whoop and Seraphim laughs nearby. Then you feel a pair of hands on your arm, Cadence pulling at you, grinning and crying. And you feel another hand on your arm, Seraphim dragging you into the crowd. Suddenly, you're in the thick of the crowd, so many bodies in one room, dancing and spinning and shouting. It's like nothing you've ever seen. You notice the rest of the crew in the melee, a flash of a familiar face here and there among the mass of colonists. You see Xander being thrown up in the air by a group of different kids of different ages, laughing madly as he bounces off the ceiling. And for the rest of this cycle, you think about nothing else but the joy of those around you, and the joy it instills in you. Credits. Oh. Nothing. You wake up in your berth, the same light that always shines on the belt is shining incessantly through the window. You are slow to rise, slow to begin this fresh cycle. At some point, Seraphim arrives back onto the rig with no indication of whether he slept or not. You find him in the cockpit, leaning in the pilot's chair, looking out at the lights of Oliveira, smiling. Good party, he chuckles. Not sure I've seen anything like it. How's Cadence? Seraphim gives you a look. She's great. She loves seeing you let it all go. He smiles. I did too. Seraphim yawns and stretches. So, he sniffs. Oliveira is all fixed up. Colonists are happy. Blah, blah, blah. Where to now? Don't you want to stay? Here, Seraphim shrugs. Still a bit too much of a backwater for my taste. He grins. Cadence understands. Don't worry. Seraphim pauses a moment, something passing over him that makes him shiver. I heard from Tala. He looks away. Wellspring is still in transition, but the Union Council is taking over. Kirk got what he wanted. The blockade will come down soon, but, he sighs, I'm not sure I'm ready to revisit that place yet. He looks at you and smiles. When I come back to Tala, I want to have something to show for myself, you know? I don't think Tala cares. No, she doesn't. Seraphim looks away, but I do. Maybe once the reboot is done, once the blockade is down, maybe we can visit then. Seraphim takes a breath. We'll get there some cycle soon. You aren't sure if Seraphim is trying to convince you or himself. He stretches, shaking off his feelings. For now, though, the belt is ours to explore. Oliveira have filled our fuel tank, so it's really up to you where we go. He gets up. While you were deciding, I'm going to go dig up some breakfast, and he glides out of the cockpit. You take a moment to look out across the tiny lights of Oliveira, dwarfed by the crater and the wreck that sits at its far end. Not bad. Not bad at all, you think. Minor upgrade completed. Discovered the origin of Oliveira. Pilgrim Bloom. What? Finish the reboot. Unfortunately, I've only got 3. I want 4. I don't care about these, so we're waiting. Maybe we'll get one more. Alright, we've got full fuel. Don't think we can go directly here, can we? We can't. We have to go via here. Alright, one last thing to do, I guess. And then there'll be a wellspring, apparently. Time to die. I mean to reboot. I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Here we go. What is this? Oh, Seraphim's coin. You need to be rebooted to have any chance of surviving, but the outcome is unclear. This step will mean big changes no matter what happens. Boom! We're doing it! You turn Seraphim's coin over and over in your fingers as you stand in flicker row, crowds pushing past on their way to whatever future awaits them. Your fingers glide over the worn metal as you imagine Seraphim's have, Tala's have, in moments of anticipation. Perhaps others before the coin came to be Tala's have repeated the same ritual, the same nervous routine. But their fingers were human, born, not made. This intrusive thought makes you slip the coin into a pocket quickly, as if it had delivered a shock. You hear a hiss and the door of the shop slides open, revealing Anghita. You see her eyes scan the crowds almost defensively before she spots you there and nods in your direction. Hey, Anghita! She looks around for a moment, then approaches you. She looks tired, but her stubborn ferocity bubbles under the surface. Bliss is waiting for you. She nods back towards the shop, which I guess is why you're hanging around out here. Nervous? Of course. She looks around at the crowd. Look, sleeper, if you want my advice, you have to find a way to keep up with yourself. Change is constant, but sometimes you can get left behind. Ankita looks away, the signs of flicker Rover reflected in her eyes. I just remembered I owe you an explanation. I promised to tell you why I wanted Utsubu out if we managed it. She shakes her head. I guess I'm not very good with promises. Why did you? Ankita is still staring at the signs. I grew up here, Sleeper. Did you know that? She doesn't wait for an answer. After I came to the belt, after Bliss and I, she pauses, not wanting to say it. When I had nothing left, this is where I came, and when I got here, my home was gone. She grimaces. Those Utsubu bastards have destroyed it, strangled the life out of it. I was looking for something to fight for on my own terms. Darkseid became that for me. She sighed. That's all you're getting. Promise kept. Nikita looks over her shoulder. Look, Bliss wouldn't be happy if they saw me out here chatting to you when you're already late for your appointment. She smiles to herself. And I don't need more reasons for Bliss to be unhappy with me. She grabs you by the shoulders and steers you towards the shop's entrance. I'll catch you after, don't you worry. She pushes you towards the door and then turns away and disappears into the lights of Flicker Row. Take a final moment and then wheel yourself inside, leaving the glimmering lights and the shifting crowd behind. Bliss is perched at a console. They turn as you enter. Finally, they smile weakly. You were making me think you wouldn't show. I saw Ankita. Oh yes? Bliss looks away. We're talking again. She has a lot to do and she needs the backup. I don't think Ankita does very well unless she's busy, so it's for the best, Bliss shrugs. I don't think she'll ever change, but people surprise you sometimes. They smile tentatively. Anyway, Bliss sighs, this is not what you're here for. We need to focus on the reboot. I'm sure Seraphim told you, but everything is ready. Bliss gestures on 2 couches with straps, freshly built connectors and a bundle of wires at one end. I hope it will be comfortable for you both. Where's Flint? Was just getting some air. Flint leans in the open doorway, watching you both. Their pale face looks even more drained of colour than usual. Flint comes inside the shop and nods to you. Let's do this. They take a shaky breath. I'm ready. Flint and Bliss go silent, and the sound of the crowds outside filters gently into the room, mixing with the whine of the air cycler and the hum of terminals. There is not much more to say. Bliss looks at you both. Okay, they pause. Let's begin. Bliss helps you and Flint onto your couches. You settle there and slide your arms and legs under the straps that will keep you in place. The connector with its thick bundle of wires waves above your head. It's hard not to feel exposed, lying here on your back, anticipating what is to come. It's even harder when the memory of waking up to this very same ceiling with its bundles of dangling tech and scratched plating forces itself into your mind. You have been here before. Last time you woke up to fear and panic, woke to a desperate escape from a shattered mind. A reboot interrupted. The thought sets you trembling. But then, staring up at the same ceiling, the trembling dissipates. After all, you are back here now. That means you survived the crisis, grew from it. You took the hit and bounced back unbeaten. All good there? Bliss's face floats into your vision. All good. Bliss smiles. How about you, Flint? You turn your head to see Flint lying beside you, stiff and still. They manage a tight-lipped nod. Looking at Flint staring up at the ceiling like you were a moment ago, you feel a rush of sympathy. After all, they haven't faced this before like you have. They're stepping into a future they cannot see. You have been here before. Now you are just completing the journey. Reach out to Flint. You raise an arm, reaching across the gap between the couches, and your hand touches Flint's. They do not look at you, but they grip your fingers in theirs tightly. Flint's fingers feel different to human fingers. The thick vinyl skin, the repair patches, the pressure of the metal skeleton beneath. You know this is what your touch feels like too, and that recognition is like a connection being made. You close your eyes and feel something flowing between the two of you, a solidarity so embodied that it reverberates within you. I'm connecting you to the terminal. Bliss's voice already feels distant, lost in the noise. You feel the cold click of the connector, the sense of flowing data. I'll be here when you wake up. In the dark, you feel restless. You shuffle your fingers, adjust your position against the couch. It takes you a moment to notice the sound is gone, the rumble of the crowds, the hum of the machines. This detail unsettles you, and so you search for reassurance. You think of Bliss's words, I'll be here when you wake up. You focus on them, on the possibility of waking up, of being somehow renewed. But what would that renewal look like? Your eyes blinking into the lights of Flicker Row. Bliss, Seraphim, and a renewed Flint beside you. But what then? Darkseid. The station, yes, which is thronging thousands. Where else to be but the heart of the Starward belt as it transforms? You put yourself in the city station, just outside this door perhaps, among the bright signs, or higher in one of the ramshackle towers that look down on the ceaseless flow of Darkseid. The projects, the possibilities make themselves known to you, the neon paths that curl and split and branch across the dark surface. You choose one. Bliss and Flicker Row, Cadet and the Couriers, Seraphim and a crew. Cadet and the Couriers. Yes, the path that flies by, that drags you along with it the moment you reach out and grasp it. A dispatch, a rack of custom bikes, you and Cadet blitzing the passages of Darkside like lightning bolts loosed upon the city. You can feel the air ripping at your clothes already, the thrill of mastery. And Darkside is waiting for this to be built. The couriers the city never knew they needed, at a good price and faster than a network signal. A chance to build something where others might channel their instinct to run and never look back into something productive. An image, Cadet flipping her bike onto the rack as you send out a package with a fresh rider, brave talk and brash laughter. A future. Something small, something shared. The idea makes you tremble with excitement, not just to fulfill it, but to see it made here, in this city. Then you feel it, the insistent pulling of a thread, the unraveling of your very self. The reboot comes on slow, an icy seeping into your mind. Little pieces of you flake off in the flow, fading with distance. You hear a voice, Bliss's voice, so far away now. You reach for it, stretch your every sense towards its familiar warmth. I'm starting the reboot. It is a whisper into the wind, pulled away from you the moment it is spoken. See you on the other side. All of a sudden you wish you could make it stop. The incessant entropy of time, the tumbling of rock through space, getting further apart every cycle, disappearing into the vacuum ahead. The decay of cells, the degradation of code, the corrosion and rot and rust. You wish in this moment to freeze it all, so you might hang on to it, preserve the warmth, the light, the softness at the heart of things. This thought grips you, tears into you like fear. You feel the ice creeping in and know that everything will be lost, if not now, then mere moments away. But then you feel it, impossibly, Seraphim's coin, worn smooth by worry, turning in your hand. Time has been pressed into that coin by hands, by fingers. It is a near infinite record of transient touches, each one shaping it in some small way. It is worn and worthless, it is bent and broken, and it is beautiful in all of those things. And so you press your thumb against it, your crooked, calloused thumb, again and again, because you are a broken thing, and you have nothing left but that brokenness, and the beauty that shines through it. And then, somewhere nearby, a button is pressed, and all at once, one thing ends, and something new begins. Credits. Actually credits. Down, down, down. Right. I mean, you know, obviously just an interactive novel, but I love novels. I love sci-fi novels. Good story. Good exploration of existence and whatnot. And I think we'll leave the credits run. And I'll say goodbye. Tomorrow, I think, if I'm streaming, it'll probably be Euro Truck Simulator. We have the Valentine's Day event where we have to deliver some stuff. So probably do that. We shall see. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for existing. Au revoir, goodbye.